something important with inversion is understanding conjunctions. Okay? So conjunction or bindeord, as they're called in Danish, is something like when, if, because, even though, before, after, that type of stuff. Right? You see the examples here in Danish. It's very important that you know what conjunction is, because that plays a big role in verb inversion, and today I'm mainly going to focus on verbs. So, the first sentence, når jeg hører den sang, when I hear that song. Okay, then we have to finish that sentence. The question is there inversion or not? That's what I want to know. Can you guess if this sentence needs inversion or not? Når jeg hører den sang. Right? So let's say, what could the meaning be? Like, when I hear that song, I feel happy, or something like that. It's a good classic. You would say, bliver jeg glad. Like that. Når jeg hører den sang, bliver jeg glad. Bliver jeg glad. Why? Because you start with conjunction. You start with the conjunction, you gotta have inversion in the second part. Right? Another way to remember that is if the first sentence, or the first part of the sentence, når jeg hører den sang, feels kind of incomplete, right? It's like, when I hear that song, you're like, yeah, then what? What's the conclusion? What happens? You're like, okay, there's gotta be inversion. That is the essence when you're dealing with conjunction and inversion. So conjunctions, and inversion. So når jeg hører den sang, bliver jeg glad. Ikke? Because når is a conjunction, you gotta have a verb here. Alright, cool. Når jeg hører den sang, bliver jeg glad. What about this one? Hvis det begynder at regne, if it starts raining, what could you say? Hvis det begynder at regne, maybe you'll go home. Eh? How do you say go home in Danish? Like, I'm just... Hvis det begynder at regne, går jeg hjem. Right? Hvis det begynder at regne, går jeg hjem. Again, because this is a conjunction, and therefore you gotta have inversion. Right? Hvis det begynder at regne, går jeg hjem. And some of you might be thinking, oh, but Thomas, then there are sentences where you don't start with this or no. You don't start with a conjunction, then there's no inversion, right? Yeah, you're right, there's not, but we'll get to that later. For now, we're dealing with the sentences where you start with a conjunction, and that is where you have inversion. It's so important. Okay, så hvis det begynder at regne, går jeg hjem. Okay. Fordi jeg tænker på min hund lige nu. Now that's longer, but it's not that hard. Fordi jeg tænker på min hund lige nu. Because I'm thinking about my dog right now. Right, so here we're starting with fordi. Now those of you who already know this word fordi, you might be used to saying something fordi, like I do this because. But sometimes you can actually start with fordi. Right? It just has a different emphasis. So, fordi jeg tænker på min hund lige nu. What could be an outcome? You could, fordi jeg tænker på min hund lige nu. I kind of want to buy something. Yeah, I want to buy something for it. For jeg lyst til at købe noget til den. Okay? Fordi jeg tænker på min hund lige nu, får jeg lyst til at købe noget til den. I come to want, and like it makes me wanna, but I come to want literally buy something for it. I want to buy something for my dog. And once again, you have the verb here, for, and for get. So fordi, conjunction, jeg tænker på min hund lige nu, får jeg lyst til at købe noget til den. Nice. And that's what it is. Do not say, fordi jeg tænker på min hund lige nu, jeg får lyst til at købe noget til den. No. You gotta have the verb first. Ikke? For is a verb, jeg is a subject, ikke? Or as a personal pronoun, but is the subject in this case. Så får jeg lyst til at købe noget til den. It's very important because many learners, they struggle. You might know the rules, but they kind of forget them when they actually have to speak. So, a lot of practice. Okay, what about this one? Oh, let me just keep an eye on the live chat. Yeah. We have Andreas Bøtker saying, jeg bliver glad, når jeg hører den sang uden inversion. Yeah, it is, because in that case, når is in the middle. Right? So you're right, Andreas. That's how you say it. Okay, da hun smagte maden, when she tasted the food. Yeah, what could you say? When she tasted the food, maybe she got like surprised. It's like, oh, it's actually really good, yeah. Maybe she was impressed, yeah. Da hun smagte maden, blev hun imponeret. Okay, she was impressed, she got impressed. Da hun smagte maden, blev hun imponeret, because da, when, in the past is a conjunction. Right? Very important to remember that. Da hun smagte maden, blev hun imponeret. And this is like one of the main things you want to remember. Okay, let's go down to selvom. What does selvom mean? It means even though or although. Right? Selvom. Selvom vores forældre er gamle. Vores forældre means parents, right? Selvom vores forældre er gamle, gamle means old in the plural. And so even though our parents are old, what could they be? They could be doing something wild. Maybe they're playing football, whatever. So play football, what is that? What is play? What is football? Selvom vores forældre er gamle, spiller de fodbold. Right? Selvom vores forældre er gamle, spiller de fodbold. It's the same thing. Right here, ikke? Spiller is a verb. Spiller de fodbold. Easy. Let's do one with efter and then one with før. So let's see. Efter. Efter hun kom hjem. What does that mean? Efter hun kom hjem. After she came home. She came home, then what? Maybe she opened something. Yeah, she opened a bag of candy. Yeah, maybe licorice. Åbnede hun en slikpose. Sorry, not hus. Åbnede hun en slikpose. Okay, so after she came home, she opened a bag of candy. That's that. Åbnede hun. I hope by now you understand what a conjunction is. I made a video just about conjunctions. It's like the same 10 or 11 conjunctions that you see here, but that's because they're the most popular ones. So really try to understand and keep in mind what a conjunction does. It's usually something to connect two sentences, two statements. But when you start with a conjunction, then you get inversion in the second part, after the comma. That's that. Okay, så efter hun kom hjem, åbnede hun en slikpose. Very nice. Okay, then we got something with før. Før jeg blev ansat her. That's a little bit more advanced maybe. Not advanced, a little more difficult for some of you. Før jeg blev ansat her. What is that? Før jeg blev ansat her. Before I was hired here. Before I got hired. At ansætte, to hire. Yeah, or employed, I guess you could translate it as. Før jeg blev ansat her, maybe he or she was unemployed, right? Or maybe they're very lazy. Yeah, let's go with lazy. Lazy is doven, right? Var jeg så doven? Yeah. Før jeg blev ansat her, var jeg så doven. And of course, remember that var is also a verb. At være, to be, jeg er, I am, jeg var, I was, and so on. So it's still a verb. Før jeg blev ansat her, var jeg så doven. I was so lazy. Okay? So, now you got a bunch of examples. You got når, hvis, fordi, da, selvom, efter, før. There's more. There's also mens, imens, and of course there are many more. But I would say these are the most important ones. And I wrote them here, so when you have the document, those of you that have it, you can look at that and you can make your own copy and make some sentences. It's a little practice, right? Yeah. Now, what I want to look at now, you know what, let me just move this to the next page. That'll look, yeah, that's better. Okay, so what you got here is something that doesn't quite look right. I think you can tell already. These sentences, let's take a look, okay? So, Da var jeg ung, jeg elskede tegnefilm. Da var jeg ung, jeg elskede tegnefilm. Supposed to mean when I was young, I loved cartoons. Yeah, maybe we should say barn, because ung is like teenager or something, or young adult. Da jeg var barn. But of course there's a big problem here. Maybe in the live chat you can figure it out. If you're watching this later, you can be like, yeah, Thomas, I know what the problem is. Because it's kind of staring you in the face. Da var jeg barn. That is really not correct. You don't want to say that. Of course, what you gotta do is say, da jeg var barn. You gotta take this var and then say, adios, goodbye. And then move it over here. So it's not really goodbye. Da jeg var barn. Right? You have the subject, the person doing it, jeg in this case, have coming before the verb. Right? Da jeg var. Some people will hear about inversion and they'll be like, okay, I'll just put inversion in the first part. No, inversion is in the second part. And in this case, if someone made a sentence like this, which is something I see almost every week, it would be like double wrong. The first part would be wrong. Da var jeg wrong. Jeg elskede wrong. It's of course, da jeg var barn, elskede jeg tegnefilm. Right? Like that. So yeah, it's same as before, but now I'm kind of highlighting it by showing you the very common mistakes that a lot of learners make. Okay, so that one is fixed. I don't have any cool emojis here, so I'm just gonna put these, and that's enough to show that it's been fixed. Okay, selvom du klog, han klogere end dig. Selvom du klog, han klogere end dig. Supposed to mean, even though you're smart, he is smarter than you. Okay, selvom du klog. That ain't right. That is weird. Selvom du klog. Now, you probably sense the pattern already, so maybe this is easy for you. Selvom du klog. Right? Selvom du klog. Han klogere end dig. That's not right. That's not proper. You would of course say, han klogere end dig. Right? Inversion in the second part. I'm saying it so many times to really drill it into your heads, because one thing is to understand the logic and the rule and the structure, another one is to remember it. You might have a nightmare. Maybe tomorrow you're going to wake up like, God damn it, Thomas, I dreamt about inversion. But that's fine, because some things, they really have to be drilled into you. So that was the second one. Selvom du klog, han klogere end dig. It has been fixed. Nice. Okay, so we move on. Hvis har du tid, du skal hjælpe mig. What is that about? Hvis har du tid, du skal hjælpe mig. It's of course, hvis du har tid. Let's do it the other way this time. Skal du hjælpe mig. Hvis du har tid, skal du hjælpe mig. If you have time, you gotta help me. That's that. Okay? So, it's not really that hard. Like, at least learning inversion with conjunctions, it's not that hard. You might think it is. I think, tell me if I'm wrong, but I kind of get the impression that learners talk to each other and then they all kind of agree that, yeah, inversion sucks and there's just no way to master it. But then you reinforce that belief and it becomes sort of accepted and okay not to master it. Of course you can say anything is okay, nobody's gonna imprison you for it, but it's like, why not? You know, why not try to understand this? It's not really that hard. Yeah. Alright, cool. So that was that. And then we have something interesting. Here we have something else that's not conjunctions. It's regular adverbs. Well, adverbs, that's of course a very big category. I like to say words that spice up the meaning. So like, of course, unfortunately, fortunately, that type of stuff. Right? So we got some options here, and then you can guess which one is correct. Selvfølgelig elsker hun ham, or selvfølgelig hun elsker ham. And the meaning is, of course, she loves him. Selvfølgelig elsker hun ham. Selvfølgelig hun elsker ham. Now, which one is correct? The first one, Selvfølgelig elsker hun ham. Because you have inversion when you start with an adverb. That's a rule of thumb. There are some exceptions. But if it's not a conjunction, it's another adverb. Anything adding flavor, spice, location. It's about time, location, or luckily, unfortunately, of course, maybe, naturally, possibly, all these kinds of things. Then you have inversion. Therefore, selvfølgelig elsker hun ham. Now, there's one thing I have to say. You might hear Danish people say, selvfølgelig, hun elsker ham, but then it's because that's two separate sentences or statements. Selvfølgelig, or maybe like this. That's okay, because you can say selvfølgelig on its own, and sometimes you can do that with these adverbs. But generally speaking, if you're making like a normal sentence, you gotta have inversion. Selvfølgelig elsker hun ham. Der. Okay, moving on. This is the same thing going on. Desværre sker det alt for ofte. Desværre det sker alt for ofte. Unfortunately, it happens way too often. Desværre sker det alt for ofte. Desværre det sker alt for ofte. If you're like most learners, you might be tempted to say desværre det sker, and that's because most other languages don't have inversion. But of course, the right answer is this. Right? Desværre sker det alt for ofte. Right? So that's what it is. You really want to think about like what is an adverb? Like, what is something to do with location or time or flavor? Like something that is not a noun, not an adjective, not a verb. That's roughly speaking how you can understand it. Heldigvis er han god til sit job. Heldigvis han er god til sit job. What you gonna do? What you gonna do about this? Heldigvis er han god til sit job. I don't think I need to drag it out this time, because it's getting easy. The more you see, the easier it gets. And that's kind of the point of this. We got something going on in the live chat. Hvad er grunden for at tale med eller uden inversion, og begge er rigtige? Andreas Bøtker says, yeah, so basically the question is, why should you use inversion, or when should you use inversion, when you can choose not to? Well, it's because if you start with a conjunction, then the emphasis is different. And you'll hear Danish people say it too. Some people will say, oh, I'm just going to speak without ever using inversion. Now that's going to be weird. Sometimes it's going to come off the most natural to use that. And it's just how you start the sentence. Okay, now here we're moving down to something related to location, and also time. This is pretty important stuff. Here means here. That's pretty simple. So here could be something easy like here I stand, or here I see a big monkey, or yeah, let's say something like that. Her ser vi en farlig abe. Sure, why not? Her ser vi en farlig abe. Because it's location. So her ser vi, here we see. I think sometimes in English you also have that. I'm not an English teacher or linguist, but I think there are some cases where it also pops up. And Danish is very important. When it's about location, you have inversion. Her ser vi. Could also be der. Der. Officially you need an accent, but many Danish people don't write it. It's no big deal if you don't do it. Der har vi, der har vi. Der har vi min fætter. Der har vi min fætter. There we have my cousin. There's my cousin. Der har vi min fætter. So again, inversion. Her, der, oppe. Oppe i træet. Up in the tree. Oppe i træet sidder katten. Sure, why not? Oppe i træet sidder katten. Up in the tree sits the cat. Or the cat is sitting up in the tree. Sometimes I'm having a bit of a dilemma when to translate this, or how to translate this, because the direct translation, the close translation would be up in the tree, the cat sits, or sits the cat. But that's unnatural English, so you would of course say the cat sits in the tree or up in the tree. But you gotta know how to say it in Danish. Oppe i træet sidder katten. Under sofaen fandt jeg en... no, skattekort. That's better. Under sofaen fandt jeg et skattekort. Under the couch I found a treasure map. You could of course also say katten sidder oppe i træet, og jeg fandt et skattekort under sofaen. You can also say that. It's just to give you more options. Like I said before, it's going to be very weird and difficult for you if you always try to avoid inversion by saying the subject first. Ikke? Jeg fandt et skattekort under sofaen. And that type of stuff. Let's do a few more of those. På bordet, nah, that one is not so interesting. I morgen, that is interesting and very relevant, because i morgen of course means tomorrow. So that is about time. When you're talking about time, you also have inversion. I morgen kommer han og gør rent. Sure, why not? I morgen kommer han og gør rent. Tomorrow he's coming and cleaning, literally. He's coming to clean the house. I morgen kommer han og gør rent. That's that. Let's do another one every morgen. I morgen skal vi rejse. I morgen skal vi rejse. Tomorrow we are traveling, or we have to travel. Right? That's very important. I morgen is something to do with time. I don't know what your personal relationship to grammar is. Maybe you love it, maybe you hate it, but I would recommend you that you at least become okay with it, because it's a bit of a shortcut. When you know at least some grammar, you can learn faster. So, i morgen skal vi rejse. Tomorrow we gotta travel, or we are going to travel. Nice. What about this one? I dag. Let's do it down here in the next page. I dag, of course, means today. I dag så jeg en meget dyr bil. I dag så jeg en meget dyr bil. Today I saw a very expensive car. Right? So that's basically what it is. It's something to do with time, and so is saw. Right? So a literal translation would be, today saw I a very expensive car. And I know that you get the point, you get the logical structure, all the rules, they're simple enough, they're understandable, but the question is how you're going to master it, how you're going to remember it, and a lot of that comes from practice, but also rewatching videos like this, not for me, but for you, because then you get it like through your head, like again and again and again and again. I dag så jeg en meget dyr bil. Okay, that could work. What else could it be? I dag har vi virkelig travlt. I dag har vi virkelig og virkelig travlt. Today we are really busy. Right? So that's how you want to say it. Do not say I dag vi har virkelig travlt. That is weird, right? Stay away from that. I dag har vi virkelig travlt. Then we have nogle gange or nogle gange as it's spelled, but Danish people, myself included, we don't bother to say nogle gange. That's very textbook. So, nogle gange, just say it like that. Nogle gange føler jeg mig... We don't need a comma, that's just something for... It's like training wheels. Nogle gange føler jeg mig lidt trist. Nogle gange føler jeg mig lidt trist. Sometimes I feel a little sad. Right? Føler jeg mig. That's that. Og nogle gange siger han nogle mærkelige ting. Nogle gange siger han nogle mærkelige ting. Sometimes he says some weird stuff or some strange things. Right? Siger, that's the verb. Føler, that's the verb. That's how you want to do it. Of course, you could also say, jeg føler mig lidt trist nogle gange. That's okay. Han siger nogle mærkelige ting nogle gange. That's also okay. Right? So you gotta decide how you want to approach it. Just don't mix them. Please say it the right way. Now, I want to focus on verb inversion. That's what we're doing today. There's one more thing where it's about the verb, but it's actually influenced by the object. Now, this one is not as essential, but I figured that this doesn't take so long, so let's just cover it anyway. This is basically where, when you start with the object, and the object is the thing that you are doing, or the thing or the person that the action is happening to. An example, I just had my sunglasses. Mine solbriller kan jeg ikke finde. Mine solbriller kan jeg ikke finde. I can't find my sunglasses. Now, most of the time, you're not going to hear this one, because you want to focus on the active party. So you say, jeg kan ikke finde mine solbriller. However, there will be times, there will be cases when it is this way, when you start with the object. Like a good example would be if you're listing a lot of things and your different actions or relationships of those things. Brød spiser vi, vand drikker vi. Right? Kind of like that, because missing the V. Bread cannot do anything, water cannot do anything for the most part. Right? So you can see that. Brød spiser vi. Yeah. What if you said something like brød spiser kongen? Okay? Bread eats the king. That's of course the king eats bread. I'm not just saying that to goof around, but it's to show you how it really works. Okay? Is there anything? Okay, the live chat is still the same for now. Okay, cool. So I feel like that has covered most of it, but I don't think it can hurt to do some more practice. So let's just do that. Let's write maybe some longer sentences and see how you can get this. Da jeg kom hjem fra arbejde, så jeg, at min kat var sur. Okay? Da jeg kom hjem fra arbejde, så jeg, at min kat var sur. When I came home from work, I saw that my cat was mad or angry. Okay, cool. And then let's continue that. Min kat var sur, fordi den ikke havde noget mad. Min kat var sur, fordi den ikke havde noget mad. My cat was mad because it didn't have any food. So in this case, you'll notice that fordi, let's highlight here, fordi is the conjunction and it's in the middle, so therefore there is not inversion. Another way you can look at this is by saying, can this sentence stand on its own? The first sentence, does it make sense on its own, or does it feel incomplete? If I say min kat var sur, you're gonna be like, yeah, okay, that's legit. It's a finished sentence. Whether or not you want to say something after that is up to you. Like, it's not necessary to complete it. Fordi den ikke havde noget mad, that's an explanation. So yeah, that's basically it. But if I said, fordi den ikke havde noget mad, because it didn't have any food, if that's what I start with, then I gotta finish it, because I don't want to leave you hanging. It's not nice, it's wrong to say, fordi den ikke havde noget mad, eller fordi jeg er glad, fordi jeg er træt, fordi jeg er rig, or anything like that. In this case, just focused on fordi, but it's the same with any conjunction. Then it's incomplete, it is incomplete, and therefore you need inversion. Right? But if the sentence can stand alone, then there is no inversion. Let's do some more examples. Maybe not focus on the cats so much. I feel like I talk a lot about cats. Okay. Jeg satte mig ned. Okay. Jeg bliver altid så glad, når jeg ser, at der er is i køleskabet. That's long. Køleskabet. Jeg bliver altid så glad, når jeg ser, at der er is i køleskabet. I always get so happy when I see there's ice cream in the refrigerator. Okay? So, again, jeg bliver altid så glad. I always get so happy. You can say that on its own. Yeah, okay, maybe it's gonna sound like you would like an explanation, but it's actually incomplete. It's only because the så is there that it might sound incomplete. If I took out the altid, if I just said, jeg bliver glad, I get happy, that's fine on its own. But we add this to make it complete, or to make it longer. Når jeg ser, at der er is i køleskabet. So yeah, it's not really that hard. Is smager godt, selvom det ikke er sundt. I guess I'm a little bit boring for saying that, but it is correct. So, is smager godt, selvom det ikke er sundt. Ice cream tastes good, even though it's not healthy. Okay, so yeah, I guess I should give me a second. I'm moving between tabs here. Selvom, selvom, even though there's no inversion because it's in the middle. But we could also do the opposite. Selvom is, move some words around. Selvom is ikke er sundt, smager det godt. Okay? Selvom is ikke er sundt, smager det godt. Even though ice cream is not healthy, it tastes good. So yeah, and you gotta have inversion here because you start with this. If I say selvom is ikke er sundt, it's gonna be like, yeah Thomas, then what? That's not the end of it, is it? Like, what's the conclusion? Yeah. So that's really what it is. And the question is, do you understand inversion now? Do you feel like it makes sense? Or do you still feel like, damn, this is weird. Why do Danish people do this? You know, we're not doing it to torture you. It just is what it is. But it's a very common mistake for many learners. I suppose we could go back and do a little bit more with time. Maybe it could be something like every day, every Sunday, every whatever weekday. Eh? So I could say, hver søndag ser jeg en god film. Hver søndag ser jeg en god film. Every Sunday I watch a good movie. Og hver dag beder han en bøn. Hver dag beder han en bøn. Every day he says a prayer, although literally every day he prays a prayer. Yeah, to pray a prayer, that's weird, right? But that's how we say it. Add be, or be the to pray, and then bøn is a prayer. It is what it is. But the point is good. Ikke? Beder han. Verb. Right? Hver søndag ser jeg en god film. Hver dag beder han en bøn. So yeah. Or maybe you could also say hver anden dag. Now what is that? Can you guys guess that? What is hver anden? Hver anden dag spiser hun noget stærkt. Hver anden dag spiser hun noget stærkt. Every other day or every 2 days she eats something spicy. Okay? And again, remember, it's because it has to do with time. Right? You got nogle gange, sometimes. Hver means every. I dag means today. I morgen means tomorrow. I går, let's do i går as well. I går var jeg gnaven. Sure, why not? Og i går så vi en krokodille, because they are cool. I går var jeg gnaven. Ikke? Yesterday I was grumpy or cranky. I går så vi en krokodille. Yesterday we saw a crocodile. Whoopsa. Alright, there we go. Alright. You could also say something like, let's take a preposition. Like, i min garage lugter der lidt af røg. Yeah, why not? You could also say lugter det. That's actually optional. I min garage lugter der og lugter det lidt af røg. In my garage it smells like smoke. Right? So it's i min garage because it's a location, and because it's a location you have inversion again. You could also say i sengen fandt jeg en sjælden mønt. I guess this is a very strange scenario, but why not? I sengen fandt jeg en sjælden mønt. In the bed I found a rare coin. A rare coin, okay. So that's interesting. I min garage. Or i sengen. Right? Think about what a location is. What about something longer like ved siden af? Ved siden af means next to. Ved siden af mig stod præsidenten. Fancy. Ved siden af mig stod præsidenten. Next to me was the president, or stood the president, and he was standing there. Ved siden af mig. Så i, på, over, under, ved siden af. All these things that have to do with location, that's where you get the inversion. Right? Yeah, makes sense? I know it does. Could also be other things. This is maybe a little bit tricky for some of you. Let's see. Uden din hjælp kan vi ikke gøre det. Uden din hjælp kan vi ikke gøre det. Without your help, we cannot do it. Maybe this is confusing because uden is not really a conjunction. I mean, it can be, but it doesn't have to be. But it is. It is an adverb. Right? Be-or, as we call it in Danish. Be-or, bywords. Så uden din hjælp kan vi ikke gøre det. Or med kaffe og te. You don't need to put commas here. I'm just doing it to highlight this. There's like a split. Med kaffe og te kan vi gøre alle glade. With coffee and tea, we can make everyone happy. Med, with, is also an adverb, right? Or for at imponere, no, I use that word too much. For at kvalificere sig til finalen, gjorde han sit bedste. For at kvalificere sig til finalen, gjorde han sit bedste. In order to qualify for the the final match game, he did his best. Right? For at, so uden, that's an adverb. Med is an adverb. For is an adverb. Yeah. You see, it's all coming together, right? It's actually not that weird. It's not as strange as some people might think it is. It's very, very doable. See if there's anything else I should touch on right now. We got uden, we got med, we got for. Let me think for a second. Selvom, mens, derfor. Yeah, okay, derfor. Derfor is an interesting one. Så, jeg spiser vegansk. Someone is a vegan. Jeg spiser vegansk, og derfor er jeg et godt menneske. I want to know, this is not necessarily what I think. This is a little bit arrogant, but somebody would say this. I eat vegan and therefore I'm a good person. Right? Jeg spiser vegansk, og derfor er jeg et godt menneske. So here you also have inversion. Derfor er jeg. Yeah, but derfor is a little bit tricky. It's one of the few that will give you a headache. Because you could also say, jeg spiser vegansk, punctuation. Det er derfor, jeg er et godt menneske. Right? So it depends how you structure it. If you make it in one sentence, and you have it like this, and there's no det, then there's inversion. Derfor er jeg et godt menneske. But if it's two sentences, and you say det er derfor, then there's no inversion. So I would say derfor is maybe the most annoying of them all, because it defies the common rules. But generally speaking, most of the conjunctions, they're very predictable. Right? It's not really that big mystery, I would say. There's also så. Yeah, I was only going to say this if I felt like there's extra time, but we have extra time today. So, så can mean different things. It can mean så, like so, or så. There, like comforting someone. Oh yeah, so, I saw. There's many different meanings. But as a conjunction, it could be, jeg er træt, så jeg går i seng. Very basic. Hun er min kone, så hun stoler på mig. Sure, that's fine. Jeg er træt, så jeg går i seng. Like, I'm tired, so I'm going to bed. That's good. Hun er min kone, så hun stoler på mig. She's my wife, so she trusts me. Okay? So here there is no inversion. Right? It's like something is the case. I'm tired, or she's my wife, and therefore I do this thing. Right? Så jeg går i seng. Jeg er træt. Okay? Så jeg går i seng. Hun er min kone, så hun stoler på mig. Ikke? Hun er min kone. Make sure I said that right. Not jeg er min kone or something like that. Hun er min kone, så hun stoler på mig. So that is så without inversion. But this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So it's okay if you have to watch this twice, or if you have to go back. Essentially, the thing is, så can also be like then. Examples. Jeg gik udenfor, og så købte jeg en is. Jeg gik udenfor, og så købte jeg en is. I went outside, like outdoors, and then I bought an ice cream. Okay? So why is the inversion here? Because this så means like then. I did this, then I did that. Jeg gik udenfor, og så købte jeg en is. Og jeg tog et bad, så lavede jeg mad. And it even rhymes. Jeg tog et bad, så lavede jeg mad. You can put an O there, but you don't have to. It's a matter of preference. Jeg gik udenfor, og så købte jeg en is. Jeg tog et bad, og så lavede jeg mad. Right? So it's different. This one up here is about reason. I'm tired, so therefore. Ikke? Jeg er træt, så jeg går i seng. Hun er min kone, så hun stoler på mig. It's a different use. Very nice. You could also say, it's like a conditional. Hvis Hvis kind of gives it away, but you also see så. Hvis du ikke ved, hvordan man gør det, så bare spørg mig. Hvis du ikke ved, hvordan man gør det, så bare spørg mig. If you don't know how to do it, then just ask me. Ikke? But you might also see this without the this. Har du problemer, så kontakt mig. Har du problemer, så kontakt mig. Do you have problems? Then contact me. Now actually there is no if in there. Isn't that tricky? Maybe that's annoying for you, but that's how it is. Eh? I guess you also have that in English. Eh? Kind of like, any problems? Just call me. Har du problemer? Så kontakt mig. You will see sometimes the conditional without this. Right? It's okay if you haven't quite discovered that yet, but you will discover it sooner or later. The point is, there is inversion. Right? Så kontakt mig. Yeah, I don't think there is much more to say. I think that we covered most of it. The first one is, jeg har brug mere tid. Jeg har brug mere tid. And that of course means I need more time. But we're missing something. Preposition is not here. What is the one we need to put in here? Jeg har brug mere tid. Jeg har brug for. That's the one. Jeg har brug for mere tid. Very, very common and important to know. Jeg har brug for mere tid. I need more time. Okay, so the next one. Morgen er det onsdag. Morgen er det onsdag. So that of course means tomorrow it's Wednesday. But something has to come before that morgen. Or what is it? What preposition you want to put in there? You want to say i morgen. Right? This one is pretty easy, almost too easy. I morgen er det onsdag. I morgen er det onsdag. That's how it is. So, let's see this one. Lakrids er ikke noget mig. Lakrids er ikke noget mig. So licorice is not my kind of thing. Like, it's not for me, it's not my cup of tea. So, what is it? What should I insert here? Lakrids er ikke noget mig. Think about it. Er ikke noget for mig. Right? That's the one. Lakrids er ikke noget for mig. And you can always say this. If something is not your thing, you can say, la 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 er ikke noget for mig. Det er ikke rigtig noget for mig. It's not really my thing. It's a polite way of saying it, so you don't have to say, jeg kan ikke lide. There's nothing wrong with saying, jeg kan ikke lide, but it's good to spice up your vocab a little bit and sound more native. Okay, so then in the third one, what we got, the fourth one. Hun gav en stor gave ham. Hun gav en stor gave ham. She gave him a big present gift. She gave it to him. Hun gav en stor gave ham. Now, what should you do about that? What is the answer? Hun gav en stor gave. I would say this one is fairly easy. What do you think? Til ham. Right? Hun gav en stor gave til ham. That's that. Hun gav en stor gave til ham. Det var fint. Det var nice. Yeah. Like that. Alright. Yeah, because it's from one to another. Fra mig til dig. From me to you. So that's very basic and very easy to understand. Okay, what we got here? Vi spiser chokoladekage et par gange året. Vi spiser chokoladekage et par gange året. Right? So we eat chocolate cake a couple of times a year. What do you think? Et par gange om året. Right? Om året. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't. But here's the thing. Whenever you want to say like a day, a week, a year, and so on, you would say right? And it's all or året. So that's like the year. Right? You don't say år. Like et par gange om år. That would be weird. Now you say året. Right? Dagen, ugen, året, and so on. It's pretty easy once you get used to it. Så vi spiser chokoladekage et par gange om året. Chocolate cake a few times a year. Very nice. Okay. Kommer du lørdag? Kommer du lørdag? Yeah. You want to put a preposition in here to make it sound better. But what is missing? The meaning is of course, are you coming on Saturday? What you need to put is kommer du på, right? Kommer du på lørdag? That's the way to do it. Kommer du på lørdag? Right? På, because it's the future. Kommer du på lørdag? Alright, alright. Og hvad har vi så? Har vi han er en mine bedste venner. Han er en mine bedste venner. He is one of my best friends. Again, something's missing. What is it? Så en, han er en mine bedste venner. You gotta say a. Right? Han er en af. He's one of. He's one of my best friends. It's pretty easy actually. So all these are mixed. There's for, til, på. There's also ved down here. So yeah, it's important because I made many videos about prepositions before, and now I'm kind of like testing you. If you watch those videos, great. If you haven't, go back and watch them. Rewatch. A little repetition definitely doesn't hurt. Alright. So, the next one is hvilket sprog sagde du det? Hvilket sprog sagde du det? Which language did you say it in? Again, which language did you say it? Hvad tænker du? What are you thinking? Hvilket sprog sagde du det på? Right? I want to give it to you. This one is also kind of easy. Hvilket sprog sagde du det på? So what language did you say it in? That is what we say when you're talking about languages, in Danish, in English, in Spanish, whatever. You say på dansk, på engelsk, på spansk, på fransk, på kinesisk, and so on. So that's what it is. På. Okay, what about the next one? Du må godt vende dig nu. Du må godt vende dig nu. You can turn around now. Like you may turn around now. Maybe you're like preparing a surprise or whatever, and then you give them permission to turn around. So, what is missing? Du må godt vende dig nu. What's missing? You gotta have right? Du må godt vende dig om. That's how it is. Jeg vendte mig om. Like I turned around. So if it's something physical, is often about something like about or around. Right? Not always, but very often. Du må godt vende dig om nu. Tak for det. Det er super. Okay. Let's see. Hvad er det, du skal bruge den? Hvad er det, du skal bruge den? What is it you need it for, or what are you going to use it for? Hvad er det, du skal bruge den? What do you think? Du skal bruge den til. Hvad er det, du skal bruge den til? And that is the right answer. Why? Well, I think a lot of people will be confused here because your mind is in English, most likely. So you think like, why is it not for? Use it for something. But in Danish, when it's like a purpose, like a tool, then you say til. Jeg skal bruge den til at lave mad. Jeg skal bruge den til at hjælpe ham. Yada yada. For would be something else. Right? It's like if I give you something, then I would say, jeg har noget til dig. I wouldn't say, jeg har noget for dig. That's a different meaning. Ikke? Så ja, til serves a purpose. Hvad er det, du skal bruge den til? Okay, alright. So next one is, fortæl mig, hvad du er bange. Fortæl mig, hvad du er bange. So tell me what you're afraid of, or scared of. Same. Bange. Fortæl mig, hvad du er bange. Fortæl mig, hvad du er bange for. I think Google kind of gave it away there. Oh, sorry, it's a little copy-paste, but it wasn't too bad, I guess. Okay. Fortæl mig, hvad du er bange for. So, again, many people have problems with this one, because you want to think, oh, afraid of or scared of. So it's A, jeg er bange af. No. I'm saying it 4 times, so you really get it. It's bange for. Hvad er du bange for? Jeg er bange for mumier, mummies, spøgelser, ghost, edderkopper, spiders. Remember, jeg er bange for. Hvad er du bange for? Please don't forget. Okay, so that was one with for. What about the next one? Ja, hun tror Gud. Ja, hun tror Gud. Yes, she believes in God. So what is the right one here? I think most of you know this one. Hun tror på Gud. Right? So what's interesting here is that, again, you might expect it, if you're very new to Danish, you might be like, oh, so it's not E, like believe in God? Well, that's in English, this is Danish. So when it's a matter of believing in something, especially the existence of something, then you would say på. Jeg tror på Gud, that's one thing. Jeg tror på julemanden, believe in Santa Claus. Jeg tror på nisser, elves. Jeg tror på mirakler, I believe in miracles. So when you are believing in the existence of something, then you can say på. Actually, you have to say på. If it's about believing a person and the claim they're making, like, oh, I believe you, I don't believe you, then usually you would also say på. But there are some cases where you would just be like, jeg tror dig, eller jeg tror ham ikke, eller tro mig. That's actually a set expression, tro mig. It's like, trust me, ikke? Although trust is stol på mig. But sort of like, take my word for it. Tro mig, det er sådan det er. Trust me, that's how it is. So yeah, a little bit about tro på. Very, very important. Okay, the next one is, hvad vil du gøre? Problemet. Hvad vil du gøre? Problemet. What will you do, or what are you gonna do about the problem? What are you thinking? Maybe the answer is hvad vil du gøre? I think this one is hard for a lot of learners. If you don't know, it might be hard to guess. Hvad vil du gøre ved problemet? Right? Now this is the first one. This is the first time I'm using ved today. Now the thing here is that you might be thinking it's and like about. Of course, is about. Yeah, it is in many cases. But again, remember, this is Danish, not English, so we don't have to always have the same translation. It's like addressing a problem, a situation, that type of stuff. You would use ved. Det jeg vil gøre ved det er. The thing I'm going to do about it is. So yeah, doing something about something, like a situation, a problem, a challenge, you would use ved. Right? Not ved. Because I know how most of you think. Okay. Then we got, han har lyst at danse. Han har lyst at danse. Definitely something missing here. I think this one is fairly easy. I talk about this a lot on my channel, well, I used to anyway, so you probably know it. Preposition missing is har lyst til at danse. Right? That's the one. Har lyst til at danse. Feel like dancing, I think I forgot to translate. So yeah, he feels like dancing. Har lyst til, feel like doing. And lyst is kind of like lust, if you will. I like the Spanish, ikke? Tengo ganas og tener ganas, ikke? Like you have the desire to do something. So yeah, har lyst, feel like doing something. You're in the mood for it. Then you got, okay. Hun fik ikke noget ud det. Hun fik ikke noget ud det. She didn't get anything out of it. Like whatever she did or whatever she experienced, there's no value. Like there's nothing that she could gain from it. Hun fik ikke noget ud det. Well, I mean, it's kind of easy if you think about it. Hun fik ikke noget ud af det. Why is that? Well, think about it. To get something out of it, right? What did you get out of it? That kind of stuff. Hun fik ikke noget ud af det. Waste of time. Okay. Then we got, mine forældre snakker det lige nu. Mine forældre snakker det lige nu. My parents are talking about it right now. Okay, so what do you say? It's not so hard. What is snakker det lige nu? Om. It's om, eh? That's the answer. Mine forældre snakker om det lige nu. About that right now. So when you're talking about something like the theme of the conversation, kind of the center, you know, all the things you're saying, they're kind of orbiting that topic. Use om. Hvad handler den om? What is it about? Hvad snakker I om? Right? Hvad synes du om den? What do you think about that? And so on. Okay, så mine forældre snakker om det lige nu. Very nice. I'll move on. And we got, hvorfor lytter du ikke mig? Hvorfor lytter du ikke mig? Why don't you listen to me? Why don't you listen to me? Hvorfor lytter du ikke mig? Yeah, you know the answer? I think you do. Hvorfor lytter du ikke til mig? That's what it is. Right? Listen to me. Not so much to say. It's the same as in English. Ikke? Lytte til, listen to. Easy peasy. Hvorfor lytter du ikke til mig? Hvorfor ikke? And then you got, er du godt humør? Er du godt humør? Are you in a good mood? Er du godt humør? I'll just tell you. Er du i godt humør? So once again, it's the same as in English. Right? There's not much to say. A little difference is that in English you would maybe say a good mood, right? But in Danish you can just say i godt humør, like I'm in good mood. You gotta say jeg er i et godt humør, but the it is optional, so that's a little difference there. Er du i godt humør? Ja, det er. Okay, fantastisk, nice, super. Alright. Okay, let's see. Vi ved ikke, det passer. Vi ved ikke, det passer. We don't know if it's true, or we don't know whether it's true. Might be a challenge for some of you. Vi ved ikke. I'm about to say that to like stop myself. Vi ved ikke, om det passer. Yeah, is very versatile. You can really do a lot with this word. It can be about, it can be around, can be whether, if. So I'm sure most of you, almost all of you, you know the word hvis. Now, hvis means if, right? But I call that the direct conditional. So like I can say, hvis du giver mig en gave, bliver jeg glad. If you give me a gift, present, I become happy. Right? It's like one thing leading to another. It's like depending on each other. It's a conditional. But is like when you can say whether or not. Right? So if you can say whether in English, you have to say in Danish. I understand that in English you can always say if, but if you can say whether in English, you have to say in Danish. Maybe it sounds a little bit technical, but it's actually pretty simple. So, vi ved ikke om det passer. We don't know if it's true. Nice. Okay, næste. So that is, jeg stoler ham. Jeg stoler ham. I trust him. And I think I kind of hinted at this earlier. Maybe you remember. Yeah, so jeg stoler. What is the missing word here? So easy. Jeg stoler på ham. Nej. Jeg stoler på ham. If you just say jeg stoler ham, it sounds very weird, so don't do that. Jeg stoler på ham. Beautiful. Okay, moving on, we got. Det er rigtigt, at jeg faldt. Søvn. Det er rigtigt, at jeg faldt. Søvn. It is true, it's right, that I fell asleep. Okay, so what is the missing preposition? What do you think about this? At jeg faldt i søvn. Nej. Det er rigtigt, at jeg faldt i søvn. Ja, det er rigtigt. Det er rigtigt, at jeg faldt i søvn. Det er det. Det gjorde jeg. I did. Okay, nice. Og we got. Jeg er ikke så god den slags. Jeg er ikke så god den slags. I'm not so good at that kind of thing, or that type of thing. Not so good at doing it. Jeg er ikke så god den slags. There's an airplane. That's how it is here in Fukuoka. What we gonna do? Jeg er ikke så god til den slags. Yeah, maybe some of you, you'll be like, well, maybe it's like in English, like go at, like good at, but no, you wouldn't say that. If it's a verb coming after, then you can say, jeg er god til at spise, danse, hoppe, whatever. Ikke? Og jeg er ikke god til at gøre det. Jeg er ikke god til at drikke, whatever the verb might be. But that at is with the verb that comes after. You still gotta have the til. So if I ask you, hey, what are you good at? Like, what are your talents? I would say, hvad er du god til? Fortæl mig, hvad du er god til. Ikke? Tell me what you're good at. So yeah, remember that. God til. Right? That's the right preposition. And of course, if you can remember, it's okay to watch this more than once, this video. Alright. Then we got, vi er løbet tør sojasauce. Well, that ain't good. Vi er løbet tør sojasauce. We ran out of soy sauce. Okay, so no more soy sauce in the house. Vi er løbet tør. You know it? It's for. Vi er løbet tør for soya sauce. Right? So running out of, you always say er løbet tør for. This one is just present perfect, like we have run out. Yeah, there's nothing else to say about that. You can say it about many things that you have in the house. Okay. Hun lavede aftensmad 10 minutter. Hun lavede aftensmad 10 minutter. She cooked dinner in 10 minutes. Okay, so it only took her 10 minutes to cook dinner. Nice. But what you gotta do? Hun lavede aftensmad 10 minutter. Yeah, it's maybe you're tempted to say I, but it is på. Why på? Well, when you finish something within that time frame, and she did it in 10 minutes, like she completed an action, then you have to say på. If I said I, that would be like she was doing it for 10 minutes, which is kind of a weird thing with food, right? She was cooking and then she just stopped. I guess that could make sense if someone else took over, but generally speaking, it would be weird. So yeah, I is like when it's a duration of time, like that you just did it. that you did it for, but på is when you complete it. So I could also say, jeg læste den her bog på en dag. I read this book in one day. Right? Makes sense, because I'm done with it. So yeah. Okay, hvad med den næste? Could be a little bit advanced. It'll be interesting to see if you guys know what it means. Jeg holder meget dig. Jeg holder meget dig. I care about you very much. Okay, so there's a verb in here. There's usually a verb, but it's a verb that many of you might not know. Because I rarely hear it from my students. I don't hear it much, so maybe it's a new word to you too. To care about in Danish. One of the words for caring at least is what we gotta do. Af. Jeg holder meget af dig. So at holde af is to care about. Like they're important to you. As I often say to my students, it's like you have kan lide or kan godt lide, and then you have elsker, but you're missing something in between, like someone that you just care about, they're important to you. Then you would use this. Jeg holder af. So you can say that about a good friend or someone. Jeg holder virkelig af dig. But I guess that could also be friend zoning in the wrong context. But you get what I'm saying. So that's what it is. Could also be an activity. Like if it's something you hold very dearly, like playing with GarageBand or whatever, it's like, yeah, this is it. And det holder jeg meget af. I really like that. Like I'm fond of it. So yeah, it's nice. It's kind of warm. Okay, move on. This is, hvordan går det? Tiden. Hvordan går det? Tiden. Basically meaning, how is it going these days or nowadays, recently? How are you doing nowadays, recently? Hvordan går det for tiden? Right? There's not a lot of stuff to explain here. It just kind of it is what it is. Hvordan går det for tiden? For tiden spiller jeg en masse fodbold. For tiden spiser jeg en masse kød. Like eat a lot of meat or whatever it is. Okay. Det er det, jeg gør for tiden. That's what I do at the moment. Right? For tiden. Okay, moving on. Klokken er 4:15. Klokken er 4:15. It's 4:45. What are you gonna do? Klokken er 4:45. Right? Maybe that's a little bit counterintuitive. You'd be like, hey, Thomas, why isn't it till? It's like 2:05. Yeah, but remember, we don't... stop singing. But we don't have any responsibility to go along with the English way. Like, maybe it sounds funny, but... You heard that? Damn. No, but it is what it is, right? We say I5, because it's like going towards 5. So 4:15, 4:15, 4:15, 4:15, 9, 10, whatever, the number. 4:15. All right. So the next one is, du fik ham at hjælpe dig. Du fik ham at hjælpe dig. You got him to help you, or you made him help you. Okay. What's missing? Du fik ham... you know it. Du fik ham til. Okay. Du fik ham til at hjælpe dig. So til, fik ham til, because this is the past. Present is, jeg får. I can write a little note here. Jeg får. Right? So I'm getting him to help me. Jeg får ham til at hjælpe mig. Then fik is the past tense. That is what we use when we get someone to do something. But not just like a favor. Could also be we made them laugh. We made them do something like involuntary. Jeg fik ham til at grine. Jeg fik ham til at grine. I made him laugh. Hun fik mig til at græde. She made me cry. Hun fik mig til at græde. Like that. So yeah. Fik mig til at la la la. Eller du fik ham til at hjælpe dig. En af. Alright. Moving on. Hvad er det bedste at være rig? Hvad er det bedste at være rig? What is the best thing about being rich? Okay, So the aspect, the best aspect of being rich, the upside is what you gonna do. Hvad er det bedste ved at være rig? Whoops. Hvad er det bedste ved at være rig? So maybe this one is a little bit tricky, but you want to think of it this way. It's like an aspect. Det gode ved, let's take my country Denmark. Det gode ved Danmark er, det dårlige ved Danmark er, the bad thing about Denmark. Det interessante ved den bog er, the interesting thing about that book is. So when you're talking about a topic, right, like you introduce something and then you're kind of picking it apart or commenting on the different aspects, then you can say det gode, det dårlige, det bedste, det interessante, det sjove. And then ved at, ikke? Det bedste ved bogen er, det værste ved at være mig er, the worst thing about being me is. You see? So that's what it is. Right? And again, if you feel like this maybe too fast or you don't get it, you can always go back and watch the video that I made about ved, because I covered most of these. Correction, I covered all of these prepositions in their individual videos. So you will learn it. Do not worry. Hvad er det bedste ved at være rig? Ja. Okay. Jeg trænger noget at spise. Jeg trænger noget at spise. I need something to eat. I need to eat something, whichever. But a more literal translation would be, I need something to eat. Like you're in need of it. It's been a while since you last ate. Jeg trænger til. Right? That's what it is. Now just allow me to drink because I'm still human. Jeg trænger til noget at spise. So the deal with that is, in Danish, we have so many words for need. Har brug for, nødt til, trænger til. And then skal with is more like need to. Har behov for, have a need for, have a need for. So it can be a pain in the ass. I am well aware of that. It's a bit of a headache, right? But trænge til is generally speaking a physical need, or at least something fundamental, like a need that is unfulfilled. Right? And food obviously is. You could also say, jeg trænger til at sove, to sleep. Jeg trænger til at være social. I need to be social, like you are unfulfilled in that department. So that's the difference between jeg trænger til and jeg har brug for. Are there some cases where you can say both? Yes, but then the meaning changes. I always, something practical, that's a funny example. You could say, jeg har brug for penge, and I need money because it has a practical use. But you wouldn't say, jeg trænger til penge. That is so, jeg trænger til penge, like a Scrooge McDuck. You have like a need for money to touch them, like what is that? So so trænge til is like an unfulfilled need. That's the whole meaning of it. Alright, cool. Trænger til noget at spise. Okay. Move on. Okay. Hun gjorde det en eller anden grund. Hun gjorde det en eller anden grund. She did it for some reason. Implying that the reason is unknown. We don't know what the reason is. Hun gjorde det en eller anden grund. What do you think? I think most of you will get this wrong. I mean, if you know it, you know it. That's cool. But there's a pretty high chance you'll get it wrong. Hun gjorde det af en eller anden grund. Right? When you phrase it like that, when it's like you have the action and then you say, did it like for that reason, then you say af. Gjorde det af den grund. There are also cases where we say grunden til, eller hvad grunden til det er, but that's more the other way around. I'll get into that some other time, because today we're covering many things. But just keep in mind that sometimes you'll say you'll see and other times you'll see til. But they're not interchangeable. They work in different ways. Okay, then we got, hvad er der vejen? Hvad er der vejen? What's wrong? Like, what's the matter? Like maybe someone's like crying or giving you a hard time, like, right? So like, what's wrong? Hvad er der? Hvad er der i vejen? That is what you want to say. Hvad er der i vejen? what's the matter, what's wrong. It is kind of what it is, but a good way to remember it is that you can say what's in the way, like what's getting in the way of you feeling good, content, happy. That's always like a nice logical reminder. You can remember it that way. Okay, cool. So, hvad er der i vejen? Det er okay, alt er fint, yeah, like that. And then we got, hun tog ansvar, det hele. Hun tog ansvar, det hele. She took responsibility for everything, or for all of it. Something that happened, or a project, she took responsibility for it. Hun tog ansvar, det hele. What you gonna do? Hun tog ansvar. It's pretty easy because it's for. Okay? Hun tog ansvar for det hele. It's the same as in English. And take responsibility for. Hun tog ansvar for det hele. Det gjorde hun. Det er så godt. Det er så godt. Okay? Nice. Then you got de er at være klar. De er at være klar. They are getting ready, or they're almost ready, like they're about to be ready. De er at være klar. I had to be careful I didn't spill it. Sometimes that might happen. De er it's going to be tricky for you. I know it is. Ved. Ikke? De er ved at være klar. That's that. Think of it this way. Ved is like at. Ikke? Like you're at a certain point. You're standing next to it, or you're standing by it. So it's like you're at the point of being ready. Right? That's basically what it is. Yeah, that's the best way I can put it. Ved at være klar. And then you say, der er fest, aften. Der er fest, aften. There's a party tonight. So, how do you fix that? Der er fest, aften. It's not so hard. I don't think so anyway. I think most learners will get this. Der er fest i aften. Alright? I aften. Tonight. There's a party tonight. Now, maybe some of you will be like, well, why can't you just write it one word like English, like tonight? I mean, we just don't. Why can't you write it in two words? So, der er fest i aften. Yeah, easy. And we got a few left here. We got han flyver rundt jorden. Han flyver rundt jorden. He's flying around the earth, or earth. He's flying around our little blue planet. Han flyver rundt jorden. A little side note while you're thinking about it. What's that accent that came up thinking about it? No, but seriously, say jorden. And don't say Jordan. D is silent. Jorden. Jorden. Jorden is both earth, but it is also the ground, like soil. So I guess you can say it has three meanings. Like you pull it up like, frisk jord. Earth. Jorden er dejlig. But also like, jeg faldt på jorden, like fell on the ground. So yeah. Now anyway, I've been stalling long enough. Flyver rundt om jorden. Because it's around the earth. Remember that we often use that with something around. So yeah, that's pretty neat once you know that. I mean, that's the whole point of this. You know something and you can extrapolate a little bit. You can say, because Thomas, he said that, and I can generally assume that that's the case. Yeah, and then you'll still make mistakes sometimes, but you'll make fewer. So that's good. And then we got, jeg er træt at forklare det. Jeg er træt at forklare det. I am tired of explaining it. I'm sure we all feel this way sometimes. Jeg er træt at forklare det. Ja, jeg er træt af. Ikke? Jeg er træt af at forklare det. So this can be a little bit annoying when you hear it from native speakers. Like I'm teaching you now, so I'm slowing down on purpose. But in real life, it's going to be a lot more mumbly. Like, jeg er træt af at forklare det. You're like, what? Are you drunk? What did you just say? Right? Now the thing is, the F is silent. I think you noticed that. A. We don't say F, we say A. Now at, you do say the T, but some of the time, a lot of the time, we kind of omit it. So it comes to sound like træt af, like træt af. Yeah, I cannot say it slowly, that's unnatural, but jeg er træt af at forklare det. More or less. Again, it's hard to like, while teaching, to give a natural impression, but it'll sound like two A's right next to each other. But yeah, you just gonna have to accept that it is what it is. Så jeg er træt af at forklare det, ikke? The at is with the forklare, ikke? At forklare, to explain or explaining. Jeg er træt af at forklare det. Jeg gider ikke mere. I don't want to do it anymore. Right? It happens. Okay, so there's one left, and this one I also hinted at earlier. Let's see if you can remember. Hvad synes du? Mit forslag. Hvad synes du? Mit forslag. What do you think about my suggestion? Proposal. So forslag is suggestion / proposal. Hvad synes du? What is the right preposition? What you gotta do? Hvad synes du om? Right? I did kind of say it earlier briefly when I was talking about snakker om. And yeah, that's what it is. It's like, again, the topic. I know what looks like this. You have the topic, and then in the middle, like, you have something orbiting. Again, it's your thoughts or feelings or opinions orbiting the topic. Yeah, I like to paint a picture even if it's not necessary. That's just how it is. So yeah, that was all for today. And like I said, this is kind of like a mix of different prepositions. If you feel like it was hard to understand and it's just a total mess and it doesn't make sense, then you can go back and watch the other videos. So på, i, til, for, er, om, ved. Those are the prepositions that I covered here. And you're gonna hear them a lot. Like it's something that takes time to master. But if you watch videos, then it helps. You can always go to the website. Because one of the bonuses is that you get this document and others from similar videos. You get them and you can just download and play around or do whatever you want. So that's like a little bonus if you decide that you're a little more serious and you're like, okay, now it's time to take the next step. I mean, free videos is cool, but I'm taking this seriously, so let's do something about it. So yeah, that's up to you. It's lifetime access, it's not subscription based. On YouTube, you can become a member and pay monthly, that's cool. But on the website, it's a one-time payment and you have the videos forever. So that's pretty sweet. I mean, 500 videos, it's not too bad. So yeah. That's pretty much it. I'm not doing this live today. It's just kind of weird talking to myself. But yeah, there are some circumstances that prevented me from doing that. So yeah, but thank you guys. And remember to enjoy the spring. It is here. It is perfect. And I love it. It's nice being here in Japan. See the birds. See the small houses. It's just awesome. I love it. So yeah, I think that's about it for now. Peace, and I'll see you soon. Vi har noget her. Okay, så hvordan går det? Okay, hvordan går det? How's it going? It's pretty straightforward. It seems okay. Hvordan går det? Jeg håber det går god. Something is weird about that. Jeg håber det går god. What is the problem with that? Det går god. You don't want to say that. You want to say jeg håber det går godt. Jeg håber det går godt. And I'm changing my settings so that they become like this. So when I write something, it keeps the mistake. This is also how I do with my students. Because when you can look at the wrong thing next to the right thing, then you have a chance of remembering. Så jeg håber det går godt. I hope it's going well. Okay, pretty straightforward. Jeg håber at du nyder det liv. Jeg håber at du nyder det liv. Well, you could say that sentence, but literally, I mean, this means I hope you're enjoying that life. Of course, we want to say more like life, the life that you have. Jeg håber, at du nyder det liv. You're not really gonna hear that. Jeg håber, at du nyder livet. Ikke? Og livet. Jeg håber, at du nyder livet. Yeah, so in Danish we say livet. Like, livet er godt. Life is good. I know in English you say life, you don't say the life is good. But we say livet. Just like in Spanish, la vida. So yeah, that's how we do it. Jeg håber, at du nyder livet. Fairly easy so far. Det er mandag i dag. Okay, it's Monday today, there's nothing to say. Det er mandag i dag. Det er en dejlig dag, og solen skinner. Det er en dejlig dag, og solen skinner. That ain't right. What you gonna do? En dejlig dag? I think most of you can answer that. And I'll keep a look on it here in the live chat to see if anybody is trying to guess. Okay, alright. So, of course you want to say dejlig, and you gotta cut that T. Why? Because it's en. It gets en dag. Dejligt would be something that's it. Like et øjeblik. Like a moment, like et år, a year. Et dejligt år. Sure, but not en dejligt dag. I almost can't get myself to say that. That's how wrong it is. Okay, cool. Alright. Så en dejlig dag, solen skinner, the sun is shining. Okay. Jeg sidder udenfor og soler. Jeg sidder udenfor og soler. So basically, I'm sitting outside, sunbathing, getting a tan. So solar, sol is sun, but solar, something is missing. Wouldn't you say so? Sidder udenfor, sitting outside. Okay, easy peasy. Sidder udenfor og soler mig. Jeg sidder udenfor og soler mig. Because it's a reflexive verb, which means that you have to put sig or mig or dig or something like that in there. Right? Så jeg sidder udenfor og soler mig. Sitting outside, sunbathing. Solbader is also a word. Okay. Vejret er perfekt. Vejret er perfekt. The weather's perfect. That's easy. Det er lige som skal det være. Det er lige som skal det være. So this is supposed to mean it is just the way it's supposed to be. Right? Like that's a literal translation. Just like it's supposed to be. Det er lige som skal det være. But of course there's a mistake. Det er lige som det skal være. Right? Yeah, maybe some of you might feel tempted to put a skal in there because you heard about inversion. So like, well, you gotta put the verb first. Yeah, but that's if you have like a conjunction first. Like, når det er godt, skal det være sådan. When it's good, it should be like that. But that doesn't happen here. It's like just one clause, and there's no adverb in the beginning. So there's no reason to put inversion. So, det er lige som det skal være. Right? That's the right way to say it. Okay. Det må være et tegn af god karma. Det må være et tegn af god karma. It must be a sign of good karma. Yeah, we have that word in Danish too. God karma, yeah. What do you do? Det må være et tegn af god karma. Maybe you can see that the mistake is the preposition, right? Tegn af, like sign of. Yeah, tegn is sign, but we say det er tegn på. Right? And Google also knows that. Det må være et tegn på god karma. So symbol, sign, indication, something like that. Let's say på. Right? Det er et symbol på kærlighed. It's a symbol of love, something like that. So tegn på god karma. Okay. And what else we got? Jeg er taknemmelig, at vejret er så godt, som det er i dag. Jeg er taknemmelig, at vejret er så godt, som det er i dag. Now this one, it's not a very obvious mistake, but there is something missing. There is something you gotta change here. Jeg er taknemmelig, okay, taknemmelig, grateful. Ikke? So I'm grateful that the weather is as good as it is today. But something is missing. And that thing is, jeg er taknemmelig for. Okay? So, jeg er taknemmelig for, at vejret er så godt. If you don't have that for or another preposition, then it's just incomplete. You gotta have it. Right? Jeg er taknemmelig for, at vejret er så godt, som det er i dag. Very nice. Let's see what we got down here. Der findes ikke noget bedre end sidde og nyde solen og tænke på, at man snart har sommerferie. See, I have to stop myself, because Google is also trying to tell you the answer, because it's so wrong that I'm tempted to correct it when I speak. Så der findes ikke noget bedre end, okay, so there's nothing better than sitting, enjoying the sun, and think about the fact that you soon have summer holiday vacation, ikke? That it's soon summer holiday. Okay, so der findes ikke noget bedre. That's fine, right? But what's wrong? I mean, bedre end sidde, I would say something is missing. I think you can see what it is. It's not so advanced. Der findes ikke noget bedre end at sidde. Right? You gotta have that at before sidde. Why? Because it's infinitive. It's kind of like to sit. Like, I know in English you can say sitting. Like, so in English if you say sitting, like, that's the gerund, or to sit, then you would say at sidde in Danish. Okay, der findes ikke noget bedre end at sidde, nyde solen. Okay, nyde solen, enjoying the sun, that's pretty good. Tænke på, think about, at man snart har sommerferie. This one is more subtle, and Google keeps getting ahead of me, so maybe you already guessed it. But sommerferie is one word, right? Might seem insignificant, but it's not. That is how you spell it. Sommerferie. In Danish, we have a lot of words that it's one word. Right? It's kind of like in German. You also have some very long words. So if you're German, it's probably nothing new. But if you're a native English speaker or something, then it can probably be quite frustrating. Anyway, we have long words. It is what it is. For et par måneder siden, det regnede flere gang om ugen, men det gør det ikke flere. That is not easy to read. For et par måneder siden, so a few months ago, it rained several times a week, but it doesn't anymore. Okay, so what do you think? For et par måneder siden, that's pretty straightforward. A few months ago. For et par måneder siden. Det regnede. It's not good. It's really not good. I see this mistake a lot, but it's wrong. Regnede det. And Google even told you that. Regnede det. Why? Well, there's inversion, because for et par måneder siden, ikke? For something siden is about time. So when you have something with time, you get inversion after that. Right? We say for 2 days siden, 2 days ago. For et år siden, like a year ago, doesn't matter how long. It is something to do with time, and therefore you gotta have inversion. Regnede, ikke? Rained. Don't say det regnede. I know it's a common mistake, but you know the rules. I talked about it before. Regnede det flere gang. Flere gang. That ain't right. No. Flere gange. Because gang is time. You gotta say times, plural. Right? So yeah, that's very basic. Flere gange. Several times. Men det gør det. Let's move it down here. Men det gør det ikke flere. That's terrible. Men det gør det ikke flere. So it doesn't do that anymore. Like no longer. Ikke flere. No. Ikke mere. Now, some of these, I just put in there. Did you yourself, ask yourself as an individual, make this mistake? Mere and flere, what is the difference? Well, basically, flere is for something that's countable. So flere venner, more friends. Eller flere gæster, more guests, whatever. Mere is something you cannot count. Love, air, gold, something like that, right? And yeah, of course, this is so beyond that, because this is like not anymore, it's adverbial. But just in case. And so, ikke mere, not anymore, no longer. Okay, let's move on. Når livet er godt, er det vigtigt at være taknemmelig. Når livet er godt, er det vigtigt at være taknemmelig. When life is good, it is important to be grateful. What do you think? What is your guess? Når livet er godt. Okay, so livet, we had that before. That is life, the life. So when life is good, vigtigt at være. That is not right. Være. At være. At være taknemmelig. Because to be. At være. I see this mistake sometimes. I see a student kind of putting similar words in there. It's like, it's this one, right? No. It's være. Like at være. To be. That's the infinitive. So at være taknemmelig. Okay, that's cool. Let's see. Hvis man er talentfuld nok, man kan måske skrive en sang om det. If you are talented enough, maybe you could write a song about it. Okay. Hvis man er talentfuld nok. Okay, talentfuld is talent, ikke? Talentfuld, full of talent, talentful. Talentfuld nok. Okay, nothing challenging about that. Man kan måske skrive. I have two mistakes here. Damn, what are you gonna do? Kan man? Because I say it, I'll tell you anyway. I'll give you a chance to guess it. Because once again, it's adversion. Inversion. You got this here. This is a conjunction. This, fordi, når. So if, because, even, when, while, all these things that kind of, because it's conjunction, it connects two sentences, two clauses. If you start with that, you gotta have inversion after that comma. Right? So kan man. Right? You can måske skrive. Okay, but it's gotta be skrive, not skriver, because skriver is the present tense. Now maybe this is a little bit hard, because in English for the first and second person you say write, and yeah, I write, I like to write, I write every day. It's no difference. But maybe in Spanish, you have escribir or escribe, escribes, like you have Spanish verbs kill me. The point is, depending on what your native language is, you have to realize that you might have an advantage or disadvantage, but use whatever you have. And so we gotta have the infinitive, because you got the can here. Can is already the present tense. You can have present tense and present tense together. That's whack. Skrive en sang om det. Okay, write a song about it. It's very nice. Let's see. Okay, any notes here I should pay attention to? Okay, no, seems fine. Okay. Så flere gange om ugen. Okay, yeah. Now, where were we? Down here. Jeg siger ja tak til varm, og nej tak til kold. Du har det måske på samme. It's hurting saying this. So I'm saying yes, like yes please, to warmth, the warmth, and no please, no thanks, to the cold, and that coldness. Maybe you feel the same way. What you gonna do? Jeg siger ja tak til varm. Varm is of course a very good word, but it's not the right one here. You gotta say varme, or varmen, you could even say. So warmth is the noun. It's important that you know the difference. So varme. Nej tak til kold. No. Say kulde. That one's a bit harder because you gotta put a different vowel. But kulde is the noun. Ikke? Kulden kommer ind. Ikke? So like the window in the winter is open. Like, kulden kommer ind. Ikke? The cold is coming in. Luk vinduet. Close the window. Kulde. Cold. Coldness. Du har det måske på samme, so maybe you feel the same. It is really not good to say it like this. Du har det måske på samme. Let's move down the next line because, yeah, a little more space. Du har det måske på samme måde. Right? Because måde means way. You feel the same way. Right? You might feel the same way. Du har det måske på samme måde. You might feel the same way. Very nice. Okay. Hvad så? Jeg sidder ude i min have. Det er en stor hav, og jeg har hyret en professionel. Okay, let's split it. It's getting too long for you. Jeg sidder ude i min have. So I'm sitting out in my yard. It's a big yard, and I hired a professional. I have hired a professional. Okay. Sidder ude i min have. Yeah. That's fine. So jeg sidder is pretty just regular present tense ude i min have. But det er en stor hav. Hav. Now hav is a different word. Could also be hav or hay. But in this case it's a noun. So hav is wrong because hav is ocean. Like sea. Det store hav. The big ocean. So of course it's again have. Maybe that is too easy. I didn't have to do a very long build-up. But yeah, just to show you, because I know some of you confuse like en have, to haver, like 2 gardens or 2 yards, and then et hav, an ocean, and then to have, 2 oceans. Yeah, it's very interesting. So yeah, what to say? Og jeg har hyret en professional. Let's see. Det er en stor have, og jeg har hyret en professional. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, so. Som kommer og vedligeholder den et par gange af ugen. Som kommer og vedligeholder den et par gange af ugen. Basically, who comes and maintains it a couple of times a week. Okay, så kommer og vedligeholder. Ikke? At vedligeholde is to maintain. Vedligeholde den et par gange af ugen. Ha ha ha. What you can do about that? Par gange om ugen. Right? Because we had it earlier. That's what we say. Right? That's something we had. And yeah, if you don't do it right, then let's just go back, because then you can see. We have it. Let's see, where did I put it? Here, flere gange om ugen. Sometimes the way to learn something is, yes, of course, understand the grammar rules. I'm explaining that now, but also just to remember what you read before. I know it's not like the most original tip in the history of language learning or teaching, but it is very useful, because then you have to think less. You can just kind of, oh yeah, I heard that before. It's in your memory. But of course, you gotta expose yourself to a lot of Danish for that to work. You cannot memorize all the rules, but you can remember a lot of sentences. If you heard like thousands of them, then at least a few hundred you might remember, right? A few hundreds. Okay, coolio. Okay, so that was pretty easy. Par gange om ugen. Then what? Han gør det godt. Ja, selvfølgelig han gør det. Han gør det godt, ikke? So he does it well. Yeah, of course he does. Selvfølgelig. Google won't tell me this time. I have to do it manually. Gør han det. Ikke? Selvfølgelig gør han det. Why? Why is that? Well, selvfølgelig is also an adverb. Like an adverb that spices up, I like to say. Anything like, of course, fortunately, unfortunately, like that type of stuff. Is the kind of adverb that creates inversion. Ikke? So, selvfølgelig gør han det. The only way you can use selvfølgelig and not have inversion is if you say selvfølgelig and then like punctuation or exclamation point, selvfølgelig, and then new sentence, ikke? Selvfølgelig, han gør det. But if you say it as something connected, then you can say, selvfølgelig han gør det. That's wrong. Right? Så, selvfølgelig gør han det. And that's that. Aha. Jeg hyrer kun de bedste folk. Yeah, what is that? Jeg hyrer kun de bedste folk. I only hire the best people. I think I heard a certain someone say that 7 years ago. It turned out not to be true, but oh well. Jeg hyrer kun de bedste folk. So that is very straightforward. Google wants me to say hyre. I only hear the best people. Jeg hyrer kun de bedste folk. Done deal. Pretty easy. Lykke kan ikke købe for penge. Let's just split it here. Lykke kan ikke købe for penge. So it's supposed to mean happiness cannot be bought for money or with money, but literally for money. You cannot buy happiness. Kan ikke købe for penge. Oh, it hurts. Help me stop the pain. Tell me what the answer is of course, we have to consider that it's the passive. Like happiness cannot be bought. So therefore it's kan ikke købes. Right? So the passive is the S. Like the regular, if you're talking about something that's in general passive, then you would say like that. Right? Kan ikke købes, kan ikke spises, cannot be eaten, kan ikke ses, cannot be seen, kan ikke forstås, cannot be understood. You got the point. Lykke kan ikke købes. Cable here. Lykke kan ikke købes for penge. Right? Okay, very cool. And then you got men man kan i hvert fald komme lidt tættere den, hvis man ved de rigtige folk. Seeing my facial expression like, what is this? Men man kan i hvert fald komme lidt tættere den, hvis man ved de rigtige folk. But you can at least or anyway get a little closer to it if you know the right people. What do you think? What is your guess? Well, men man kan i hvert fald komme lidt tættere på, and even Google knows it, lidt tættere på den. And so basically, let's do this so you can see it all. You gotta say på, if you want the preposition. If you just say, jeg er tæt den. No, you gotta have på. Tæt på. Also, you know, like when something is very close, like, ooh, that was close, like that was a close call, it almost happened. And you say, ooh, det var tæt på. Right? It almost happened, det var tæt på. Okay, hvis man ved de rigtige folk, supposed to mean if you know the right people, like you have connections and stuff like that. Hvis man ved de rigtige folk, it hurts. Hvis man kender, too fast. Hvis man kender de rigtige folk. Cause, I mean, how many times do we have to talk about this? Because ved is information. Det ved jeg godt, I know that. Ved du hvor jeg bor, you know where I live, yada yada. Kende is when you're familiar with something or someone. So if it's about a person, then it's, jeg kender ham ikke. I don't know him. Or jeg kender ham rigtig godt, I know him very well. Could also be about a feeling or a movie, something you can relate to. But it's not really information, it's about being familiar. So yeah, I talked about it before, and this is probably not gonna be the last time. I think not. Alright, cool. So kender de rigtige folk. And yeah, let's see. No, that's it. Okay, so let's see down here in the last chunk. Let's move it to the next page. I don't like seeing that line between, it's messing up the harmony. Okay, so nu kan jeg også høre nogle fugle, hvem kvidrer. Nu kan jeg også høre nogle fugle, hvem kvidrer. Now I can also hear some birds that are singing, tweeting, bird style. Okay, so there's definitely a mistake in here. Many might feel tempted to make. Like if you had to, write some homework for your teacher, you would probably get this one wrong, at least if you're new to the language. So you would say fugle. Yeah, some is actually fine, but I was thinking of der. You can say either one. Der or some that are tweeting. Because hvem is There are some cases where them has the same function as who, but it is not the same as in English. So be very careful with that. The go-to word for, or words, because you have two, for like the man or woman or thing, that, who, which is der or some. Right? Maybe I'll talk more about that in detail someday. For now, just don't say them. Not in this case, it would be so weird. De lader til at være i godt humor. De lader til at være i godt humor. Actually, I realized today, because I was watching the other video, that I used this point before. Maybe you remember it. So they seem to be in a good mood. Godt humor. What do you say? Well, what you gotta do, of course, is say godt humør. Like I said in the other video, humor is humor, sense of humor. And humør is mood. And a lot of people get this wrong. It's a different letter. It gets ø, not o. You call it o/, if you're still very new to Danish, I guess. And so it's ø, humør, and then humor. And so it's about the stress, humor and humør, different stress and different vowel. Okay, enough about that. Måske er det fordi, at jeg... Måske er det fordi, at jeg lige har fodret dem med en cheeseburger. Yeah. What do you say? Maybe it's because I just fed them with a cheeseburger. That's very normal stuff, right? Måske er det fordi, at jeg lige har fodret dem med en cheeseburger. What do you say, guys? See any problem here? Måske er det fordi, at jeg lige har fodret dem med en cheeseburger. There's no mistake. Yeah, I put a long one there, but it's good to pay attention. Så er det klart, at de er så glade i dag. Alle fortjener noget lækre i ny og næ. Så er det klart, at de er så glade i dag. Then it's clear, it's obvious, no wonder, that they're so happy today. Alle fortjener noget lækre i ny og næ. Everyone deserves something delicious once in a while. Okay? Klart, de er så glade. Something not right about that. Så er det klart, at de er så glade. It's kind of basic. Maybe you know it. Glade because plural. It's more than one. In English you don't have it. There's no difference between happy singular, happy plural. In Spanish you have it, feliz, felices. But yeah, use what you have in your own language. Så glade, okay, happy, they're happy today. Alle fortjener noget lækre i ny og næ. This lækre just hurts. I'm being a little dramatic today. Lækre, no, you want to say, noget lækre, you could actually say that. But what I want to say is lækkert. Lækkert, let's move it down here. Alle fortjener noget lækkert i ny og næ. So it's lækkert because it's noget. Again, noget means something. And there is no noun here. So then the go-to word you want to use is noget. Er der noget galt? Is there something wrong? Der er noget, jeg har tænkt på. There's something I've been thinking about. So something or anything is noget. And therefore it has to be lækkert. Lækre would be the plural. Like lækre æbler, delicious apples. I don't know whoever says that. But yeah, in theory, that's just the grammar, the way it works. Alright. Let's see. I ny og næ. Yeah, just a little side note. I ny og næ means like now and then. Like once in a while. I don't use this one so much myself, but it is a neat little expression to have in your vocab. Okay, then what? Når solen skinner, skal man selvfølge huske at bruge solcreme. Når solen skinner, skal man selvfølge huske at bruge solcreme. When the sun is shining, you of course have to remember to use sun lotion, sunscreen, sunblock. Sun cream in Danish. It's a mistake that you might catch it. Skal man selvfølge? Okay, so når solen skinner, ikke? That's pretty correct. Like, when the sun is shining, there's nothing to say. Når solen skinner, okay. Skal man, but here's the problem, because you gotta say selvfølgelig. Maybe you already know it. We had selvfølgelig before. Selvfølgelig means of course. So what is selvfølge? Selvfølge is given, like a given. Right? It's automatic. Yeah, of course. Like you take it for granted, or it's just a very natural assumption. Det er en selvfølge. Right? So it is a word we use, but it's not what you're supposed to use here. You could say, det er en selvfølge, at man skal. It is a given that you have to do. But I didn't say that here. Okay, very nice. Nogle gange glemmer jeg at gjorde det, men ikke i dag. Nogle gange glemmer jeg at gjorde det, men ikke i dag. Sometimes I forget to do it, but not today. Okay, so there's one mistake here. Is it hard to see? Or is it obvious? Nogle gange glemmer jeg at gøre det. Ikke? I think it's fairly obvious, because gjorde is did. Ikke? Like jeg gjorde det. I did it, or I did that. So, yeah, you gotta have the infinitive, ikke? At gøre, to do. Nogle gange glemmer jeg at gøre det. Sometimes I forget to do it. Very nice. Men ikke i dag, but not today. Yeah, that part is easy. Okay, then we have the very last sentence for today. What is it? Jeg tog den på lige efter jeg havde børste tænder. So I put it on right after I had brushed my teeth, or brushed teeth. It's not that bad. So I tog den på, ikke? I put it on. It could be clothes, could also be perfume or cream or something. Jeg skal lige tage parfume på. Jeg tager den lige på, just put it on. Børstet. I can't hold it anymore. Efter jeg havde børstet, because brushed. Jeg havde børstet. I had brushed. So in Danish we use the present perfect and past perfect, or past participle, more than in English. So I had seen, or I have seen, or I had done. In English you might just say after I brushed. But in Danish you're more likely to hear havde børstet or har børstet, if it's more leading up to the present. I can talk more in detail about that some other time. But yeah, that is important. And also sometimes learners, they make this mistake where they mix the past tense and this har or havde. Right? It's very obvious. You have to choose which one you're trying to do. Sometimes people just mix them together, and that's of course not correct. But yeah, that was all for today. Han bad mig hjælp. Han bad mig hjælp. So he asked me for help. He asked me for help. How would you say that? Han bad mig hjælp. Something. What are you gonna do with that? Han bad mig om hjælp. Han bad mig om hjælp. So, when you're asking someone for something like a favor, you would generally say It could be the and in this case is of course bad because it's the past. Very nice, very easy. Okay, hvad med det næste? What about the next one? Det første ved jeg ikke, hvad du mener. Det første ved jeg ikke, hvad du mener. First of all, or first off, I don't know what you mean. Okay, what you gonna do? Yeah, so you would say for det første. Nej. For det første. in Danish, when you're making a point, like first of all, second and third and so on, you want to say for, for det første, for det andet, for det tredje, for det fjerde, and so on, with ordinal numbers, of course. So for det første ved jeg ikke, hvad du mener. First of all, I don't know what you mean. That's pretty straightforward. Okay, hvad med det næste? Det skete det forkerte tidspunkt. Det skete det forkerte tidspunkt. It happened at the wrong time. Okay. Skete det forkerte tidspunkt. What you gonna do? Maybe you know it already. Det skete på det forkerte tidspunkt. Right? Det skete på det forkerte tidspunkt. There's not so much to say. Generally speaking, tidspunkt you say på. Tidspunkt is like point in time. Punkt is point, and tid is time, so point in time. Or just point. Okay, very nice. Det skete på det forkerte tidspunkt. That was the third one. Så har vi, what is this? Hvad er det en blomst? Hvad er det en blomst? What kind of flower is that? Hvad er det en blomst? What to do? Hvad er det for en blomst? Hvad er det for en blomst? And I can imagine that some learners would find this strange and like random. Why not something else? Well, one of the ways that are very common in Danish, to say, what kind, or what type, what sort, is hvad er det for en, og hvad er det for et? Something like that. Hvad er det for noget? Something less specified. So yeah, that is very good to know. Hvad er det for en mand? Hvad er det for en historie? Hvad er det for en sang? Of course, you could also say hvilken slags, like slags type, sort. But yeah, this is very common as well. Okay, så har vi, hvad ser du spejlet? Hvad ser du spejlet? What do you see in the mirror? What do you see in the mirror? Hvad ser du spejlet? What's missing here? A little preposition. Hvad ser du i spejlet? Hvad ser du i spejlet? Because it's kind of easy. I is very often in. So i spejlet, in the mirror. Not so much to say about that. Okay. What else we got here? This one a little bit longer. Jeg glæder mig, det bliver sommer. Jeg glæder mig, det bliver sommer. I'm looking forward to summer, or more literally, I'm looking forward to it being or becoming summer. What do you think? I think I do. What are you thinking about it? Glæder mig. Yeah, in this one there are many prepositions. I mean, not this particular sentence, but in this entire video there are many different prepositions I'm playing with, simply to challenge you more. Jeg glæder mig til. You could also say til at, but you don't have to say at. Jeg glæder mig til det bliver sommer. It's kind of like I'm looking forward to summer, to it becoming summer. Sometimes I have to do an unnatural translation, like unnatural English, for it to make sense. But that's how it is sometimes when you're learning. Jeg glæder mig til det bliver sommer. Okay. Han lader som det er okay. Han lader som det er okay. He's pretending that it's okay, or he's acting as if it's okay. Okay. So what is missing here? What preposition should I put in here to make it an actual sentence? Han lader som om det er okay. That is what you want to say. Han lader som om det er okay. Right? So that's what you gotta do. At lade som om is to act as if. Lade som om. I could also say, han lader som om det ikke engang er sket. He's acting like it's not even, like it didn't even happen. Right? At lade som om, to act as if. Okay, very nice. What is this? Klokken er 4:15. Klokken er 4:15. The time is 5:15. Okay. So what is that? 5:15. How do you say that in Danish? What are you gonna do? Klokken er 4:15. Klokken er 4:15. Right? Because it's like over, it's exceeding. You have 5 and then anything over or above that is like past. Over. 4:15. I want to double check up on the live chat to see if people are trying to guess. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. Alright, cool. So 4:15. 5:15. Fantastisk. Okay, hvad har vi så? Nu gør vi det din måde. Nu gør vi det din måde. And now we're gonna do it your way, or we're gonna do it in your way. Yeah. Nu gør vi det din måde. So måde is of course way, like method, manner, the way you're doing something. Nu gør vi det din måde. What are you thinking? What's missing here? Nu gør vi det på din måde. Nu gør vi det på din måde. Now in English of course you could just say we do it your way or my way. You don't need to say in whatever way. But in Danish you do gotta, you have to say that. There's no choice. Right? Nu gør vi det på din måde. Ja, gør vi det på din måde. Very nice. Okay. Jeg er meget stolt dig. Jeg er meget stolt dig. I am very proud of you. Okay? So I'm very proud of you. Jeg er meget stolt dig. What you gonna do? Jeg er meget stolt af dig. Right? Jeg er meget stolt af dig. Of you. Not so much to say here. Generally speaking, you can expect that of or of often translate to a in Danish. A or a. I also made a video about that before. I have made videos about almost all of these prepositions. This is like mixing them, but I have individual videos about på and i, for, til, af, ved, om. And if you want to go more in depth. Okay, this is like I'm quizzing you today. Okay. This next one, let's see here. Oh my god, I gave it away to you guys. That is bad. Nah, anyway, since I forgot to remove that. Yeah, so it's to en stor kage med. Right? And why is that? It's because, well, at tage noget med is to bring something. Ikke? So hun tog en stor kage med is she brought a big cake. Ikke to an event or to something. So yeah, hun tog en stor kage med. Ikke? That is to bring something along. So yeah, easy. It was not supposed to happen, but oh well, I hope you still learned something. Alright. Han går meget i hygiejne. Han går meget i hygiejne. He cares a lot about hygiene. Right? Now of course E is already a preposition, but it's another one that's missing. So there's a preposition you gotta put in here. What might it be? Han går meget. What do you think? Han går meget op i hygiejne. Han går meget op i hygiejne. Right? So at go up i is to care about, as in you're being meticulous, you put in a lot of energy and effort. It's something that's a priority to you. So you can say it about something like hygiene or grammar, which obviously I do, occupational hazard. different things, like certain values and principles. You wouldn't say it about a person. Like you say, oh, I care about. You wouldn't say, jeg går meget op i dig. Like, don't do that. That is weird, incorrect Danish. Right? But yeah, for like values, principles, priorities, very good. At gå op i noget, to care about something, being meticulous, putting effort, yada yada. You get the point. Okay, fantastic. Har vi den her. Okay. Hvorfor tror han ikke vampyrer? Hvorfor tror han ikke vampyrer? Why doesn't he believe in vampires? He doesn't believe in vampires. He doesn't think they exist. Hvorfor tror han ikke vampyrer? I think this one is fairly easy, like for most of you. You shouldn't have any problem guessing this. The preposition. Nah. Hvorfor tror han ikke på vampyrer? Right? So we had it before. I think last time I said tro på Gud, like to believe in God. You could also say tro på julemanden, believe in Santa Claus, whatever. Right? Tro på vampyrer, to believe in vampires. So a tro på is to believe in, right? In the existence of something. You could also say it about believing in a person, like their word. Tror du ikke på mig? Don't you believe me? Or don't you believe in me? Or having faith in someone. Jeg tror på dig. I believe in you. I think I had that in last week's video about giving support. Like, jeg tror på dig. Like, you can do it. But anyway, and this is about the existence of something. Han tror bare ikke på vampyrer. He just doesn't believe in vampires. Fantastisk. Okay. What's the next one we got? Hvad er grunden, at hun ikke forstår det? Hvad er grunden, at hun ikke forstår det? What is the reason that she doesn't understand it? What is the reason for her not understanding? How do you want to translate it? So she doesn't understand it. What is the reason? Hvad er grunden, at hun ikke forstår det? Ja. What are you thinking? This one, almost all my students making mistakes with this one, at least a few times per week. I see this one getting, not the treatment it deserves. But what you want to say is, hvad er grunden til? Right? Hvad er grunden til? So we might feel tempted to say, hvad er grunden for? Like, what is the reason for? Don't do that. And this is, hvad er grunden til? If you don't want to say the whole thing, like forstår, you could just say, hvad er grunden til det? Like, what's the reason for that? Hvad er grunden til det? What's the reason for that? Right? So, yeah, grunden til. This next one is easier. I think most of you can guess it. Din hat faldt. Din hat faldt. Your hat fell off. Okay. So that would be, din hat faldt. The preposition is, din hat faldt af. Right? A. I kind of said it before. Off. Right? Oh, jeg faldt af. I fell off. Din hat faldt af. Easy peasy. Fantastic. Alright. Then we got vi opdagede det. Et tilfælde. Vi opdagede det. Et tilfælde. We discovered it. Or we discovered something by coincidence. Okay, so of course opdagede is discovered. Okay. Opdagede det. Tilfælde. What are you gonna do? Vi opdagede det ved et tilfælde. Because it's by coincidence. Right? By chance. Vi opdagede det ved et tilfælde. Yeah, there's nothing else I can say. I can just sit here and smile. There's nothing I can add. But of course, you should watch the video about ved, because it's very useful. Now, what we got here. Jeg er glad, at du forstår mig. Jeg er glad, at du forstår mig. I'm happy that you understand me. Jeg er glad, at du forstår mig. Yeah, now in English you might feel tempted to say, hey Thomas, there's no need for preposition, come on. But there is in Danish. You gotta have a preposition in here. You gotta be the right one. Jeg er glad for. Right? Jeg er glad for, at du forstår mig. So you gotta have the for when you're happy about something. I can say, jeg er glad, I'm happy, fine. I can say, du forstår mig, yeah, you understand me, cool. But if I want to say I'm happy about something, then I gotta say, jeg er glad for. Right? So don't do the direct English translation and say, jeg er glad, du forstår mig. Jeg er glad for, du forstår mig. The for is important. Okay? Very nice. Then what we got this. Alle ved, hun samler gamle kort. Alle ved, hun samler gamle kort. Everybody knows she's collecting old cards. Right? So might be some card game or whatever. Alle ved, hun samler gamle kort. This one I haven't really talked about before, so it might be a challenge for some of you. Alle ved, hun samler på gamle kort. Right? So in Danish, if you are collecting something, you would generally say samle på. And if you're collecting, like you have a collection. If you're kind of gathering, that's a little bit different. Like maybe you're picking up trash or trying to get everything organized. That might just be samle. There's also samle in, and I'm not going to talk about that today. But samle på is when you're collecting. Like it's a hobby you have. A samle på. Yeah. Just don't say it with people, that would be weird. Jeg samler på. Yeah. Alright. Den næste. Er du tvivl? Er du tvivl? Er du tvivl? Are you in doubt? Right? Er du tvivl? What do you think? Er du i tvivl? Er du i tvivl? I no need to keep you waiting with this one, because it's the same as in English. I tvivl, in doubt. So yeah, i tvivl. You can say at tvivle, you can tvivle på, to doubt something. Yeah, it's not so hard. Okay, what we got. So, det er ikke vigtigt, han kan lide det eller ej. Det er ikke vigtigt, han kan lide det eller ej. It's not important if or whether he likes it or not. So basically, it doesn't matter if he likes it or not. Det er ikke vigtigt. Yeah. And many people also have problems with this one. It's not that hard once you kind of understand it. But if you don't know, then det er ikke vigtigt, han kan lide det eller ej. What do you think? Det er ikke vigtigt, om han kan lide det. Like I have said many times before, when you talk about if, whether, like one or the other, eller ej or not, then you gotta say Some of you might feel tempted to say hvis. Det er ikke vigtigt, hvis han kan lide det eller ej. Don't do that. That's wrong. Okay? The correct one is Det er ikke vigtigt, om han kan lide det eller ej. That's that. Yeah. Okay, this next one. You can probably guess it. Vi har tillid ham. Vi har tillid ham. We have faith or trust in him. Yeah. So tillid is like trust, or faith, confidence. Tillid. Vi har tillid ham. What do you think? Vi har tillid til ham. Did you guess it? Maybe you thought it was I. It's like in him. But no, we say til. Right? Because it's kind of like from one person to the next. Like there's a relation going on. Vi har tillid til ham. That's that. Right? Tillid til ham. Okay, let's see. What about the next one? Det her er en mulighed at gøre en forskel. Det her er en mulighed at gøre en forskel. This is an opportunity, like a chance, to make a difference. Det her er en mulighed at gøre en forskel. Kinda long, but not that hard. En mulighed. What do you think? Det her er en mulighed for. Det her er en mulighed for at gøre en forskel. So, in Danish, and I said this before, when you're talking about chance, possibility, opportunity, risk, likelihood, you would use for. Mulighed for, sandsynlighed for, likelihood, risiko, risk, and so on. It's pretty easy, because they're all in the same category. Mulighed for, chance, opportunity, to do, or to whatever, right? Something. Okay. Hvad mener du det? Hvad mener du det? What do you mean by that? Someone said something, you don't get it, you're confused. What do you mean by that? Hvad mener du det? Hvad mener du med det? Nej. Hvad mener du med det? That's all. Hvad mener du med det? I guess in English you could also say, what do you mean with that? It's unnatural English. But yeah, that's how we say it. Hvad mener du med det? Yeah. Okay. And we got, det tror jeg, du har ret. Det tror jeg, du har ret. I think you are right about that. Det tror jeg, du har ret. So what should I do here? What's the right preposition? Det tror jeg, du har ret i. Yes, that is one. Det tror jeg, du har ret i. Now, maybe some of you are confused because you're thinking, well, like to be right, you er rigtig, right? Because you know, rigtig is right or true. But in Danish, if you are right about the claim you made, then it's at have ret, og have ret, to be right. So, jeg har ret, du har ret, du havde ret, you were right. Right? And preposition is i. Du har ret i, at han er gammel. Du har ret i, at det er en god sang. You're right in saying, like, you're right about it being a good song. So, i is the preposition. Det har du ret i. Eller det tror jeg, du har ret i. I think you're right about that. Nice. Hvad er det næste? The next one. Hun er lidt skuffet mig. Hun er lidt skuffet mig. He's a little disappointed in me or with me. Skuffet mig. Skuffet means disappointed, of course. Lidt skuffet mig. What to do? Hun er lidt skuffet over mig. That's the one. Hun er lidt skuffet over mig. She's a bit disappointed with me or in me. Like that. Yeah. What's next? Jeg blev inspireret den bog. Jeg blev inspireret den bog. I was inspired by that book. Jeg blev inspireret den bog. So, what is it? This person was passive. He or she was inspired by something else. They're passive. Jeg blev inspireret af den bog. And Google also told me. Jeg blev inspireret af den bog. Like very, very simple. Very straightforward. Like a is the go-to word for by. Like it was done by. I was by someone or something. Jeg blev betalt af. I was paid by. Jeg blev angrebet af. I was attacked by. Jeg blev hyldet af. I was celebrated by. Paid tribute to by. So yeah, that is the one you want to use. Okay, and then we have, det er et symbol, kærlighed. Det er et symbol. Kærlighed. It is a symbol of love. Det er et symbol. Kærlighed. What do you think? What do you think about this? Det er et symbol på kærlighed. Det er et symbol på kærlighed. And why? Well, symbol, and a tegn, sign, indication, indicates, like indication, those words you will put på, and that is the proper preposition. Symbol på kærlighed. Symbol på whatever really. Doesn't have to be kærlighed, of course. Yeah, easy. Let's just move on. Hvad vil han gøre? Problemet. Hvad vil han gøre? Problemet. What will he do about the problem? Or what is he going to do about the problem? Hvad vil han gøre? Problemet. Hvad vil han gøre? Problemet. Yeah, what do you think? What do you think? Hvad vil han gøre ved problemet? Hvad vil han gøre ved problemet? So, in Danish, when you are addressing or handling a situation, a problem, a challenge, you will say ved. Right? Typically it's at gøre ved. Gør noget ved det, do something about it. Han har ikke gjort noget ved det. He hasn't done anything about it. Hvad vil du gøre ved det? What you gonna do about it? Hvad vil han gøre ved problemet? Yeah, very nice. Det næste er, hvad ved du? Gamle bøger. Hvad ved du? Gamle bøger. What do you know about old books? Now maybe some of you will say, hey Thomas, that's ved again. Yeah, but this ved is the verb. And like, hvad ved du? What do you know? Ikke? At vide, to know, ved, that's know. Ikke? The present tense. Hvad ved du? What do you know? What do you know about old books? Think about it. Hvad ved du? Hvad ved du om gamle bøger? Hvad ved du om gamle bøger? It's kind of easy. I think that one of the first problems you encounter as a learner is ved and kender and tror and synes. Like those pairs are really the bane of your existence, of your whole journey with the Danish language at first. So, ved is know, and jeg ved det, I know, so you know about something. Ikke? Hvad ved du om gamle bøger? And what do you know about old books? Yeah, it's very simple. Hvad ved du? Very nice. Let's move on, and we got, han gjorde det forskellige grunde. Han gjorde det forskellige grunde. He did it for different reasons, or various reasons. You can translate it both ways. So he did it for various reasons. Han gjorde det forskellige grunde. Yeah, what do you think? Han gjorde det af forskellige grunde. Ikke? Han gjorde det af forskellige grunde. Not so much to say, ikke? Other than if you have a sentence like this, ikke? He did it or she did it, like for reasons, then you want to use a. Yeah, cool. Then you got alt har hun 2.000 kroner. Alt har hun 2.000 kroner. In total, like all in all, she has 2,000 kroner. Krones, I think some people say. Okay, so all in all, in total, har hun 2.000 kroner. Practice your R there if you want. Kroner. You're gonna say i alt, right? I alt is in total. Now it's very good when you're talking about numbers. Doesn't have to be numbers necessarily, but yeah, that's very good way to think about it. Ikke? I alt har hun, in total she has, yada yada. And of course there's inversion because link is a preposition, so therefore there's inversion. But I talked about that in like 5 other videos already. Okay, nothing else to say about that. Next one. Vi spiller poker. Vil du være? Vi spiller poker. Vil du være? We're playing poker. Do you want to join? Now I have to make 2 sentences here, because if I just said this vil du være, it's kind of hard. You need a context. Vi spiller poker. Vil du være? What to do? So you want to say vil du være med? Right? Vil du være med? Do you want to join? Do you want to take part in this? So I haven't talked so much about med before, and maybe that's something I should look into in the next couple of months. But basically, være med is to like join or join in on or be a part of. And before I had like tage med, like, to bring something. But a være med is to be a part. Like, kids would always say it. I think kids still say it nowadays. Like, må jeg være med? Can I join? Can I play too? Vil du være med? Or some not so nice person might say, du må ikke være med, you can't join. But I don't think any civilized adult would ever say that. Yeah. Anyway, it's good to know the grammar and just what it might sound like. Okay. Then we got this. De gav mig skylden, det hele. De gav mig skylden, det hele. De gav mig skylden. Gav mig skylden, det hele. They blamed me for everything. Right? Basically, they said that he or she was at fault for everything, responsible for it. De gav mig skylden, det hele. What do you think? De gav mig skylden for det hele. Right? For det hele. Kind of like they blamed me for it. Right? Skyld is guilt or fault. So to give someone the fault or the guilt. Right? You gotta say, jeg tager skylden for det. Right? Like, I'll take the blame, I put on myself, kind of. De gav mig skylden for det hele. There's actually more than one way of saying to blame someone in Danish, but we'll get into that some other time. Gav mig skylden for det hele. Okay. Din mor flyver et par dage. Din mor flyver et par dage. Your mom is flying in a couple of days. Okay. Implying that she's traveling, not that she's really flying. Din mor flyver et par dage. What is missing? Now, this is a preposition I talked about a lot. This has to do with time, of course, and it is. What is it? It is right? Et par dage. Why? Now, you might feel tempted to say I et par dage, because in a few days, but that is wrong. Here's the deal. I et par dage would mean for a few days, and like she's flying non-stop, or she's generally flying for a few days. I is the duration of time, for how long something is taking or is going on. So don't say that. When it's a countdown, like in a couple of days, like a few days from now, you would say right? It's et par minutter, like a few minutes, en time, in an hour, en dag, in a day, you get the point. Right? Very important that you get this one. Et par dage. Amazing. Vi er nået frem, en konklusion. Vi er nået frem, en konklusion. We have reached a conclusion. Talking, and then we got to that, conclusion. Vi er nået frem, en konklusion. En konklusion, what do you say? I guess. Vi er nået frem til en konklusion. Right? So it's very common to see from and till together, because, give me a second, only human after all, because from is like forward or forth, right? So till is like you moved forth or you reached that point. Frem til. You could also say at se frem til, that is to look forward to. Not exactly as at glæde sig til, that is more to be excited. Like, jeg glæder mig til jul, I'm excited about Christmas. But as a frem til is like to look forward to in a more, maybe not formal, but more moderate or like kind of tempered manner. So yeah, just a general note about frem and til. Anyway, this is at nå frem til, because nå is to reach, right? Vi nåede frem til, like this is what we reached. We would also say vi nåede frem til en enighed or something like that. Okay, enough about that one. Det er noget du kan tænke. Det er noget du kan tænke. It's something you can think about. Like think it over, give it some thought, sleep on it. Det er noget du kan tænke. Yeah, what do you say? What do you do about that? Det er noget du kan tænke over. Det er noget du kan tænke over. Right? Kind of like think it over, because you might feel tempted to say tænke på, because you definitely heard that before. That would not be correct, incorrect, but it would be weird in this context, because tænke på is like, hvad tænker du på? What are you thinking about? Right? Kind of like the thing occupying your attention space, yada yada. Right? Det må du ikke tænke på. Ikke? Don't think about that. You can't think about that. But tænke over is considering, giving it thought, contemplating, reflecting. So yeah, there's a difference between the two. You can say tænke på, you can also say tænke over, but they mean different things. Yeah, just keep that in mind. Okay. Hvad synes du mit forslag? Hvad synes du mit forslag? What do you think about my suggestion or proposal? So you suggest something like, what do you think about it? Hvad synes du mit forslag? So much too easy. Hvad synes du om mit forslag? Alright? Hvad synes du om mit forslag? Yeah, because again, synes om, like think about. Yeah. Hvad ved du om det? What do you know about it? Hvad synes du om det? What do you think about it? Yeah. What is your opinion? What do you feel about it? Yeah, let's do the last one. En gangs skyld er han helt stille. En gangs skyld er han helt stille. For once, he's completely quiet. He's not saying anything. En gangs skyld er han helt stille. What do you think? For once, he's totally quiet. Quiet. For en gangs skyld. Right? Maybe you guessed it already. For en gangs skyld er han helt stille. Because, well, gang is time. Right? Like it happened in Japanese, kai, Spanish, ves. Right? So, like for once, and skyld is, yeah, I said it before, it's like for the guilt, but it's also sake. Right? So for one time's sake, like for the sake of one time, don't do a direct translation, it's weird. But yeah, like for en gangs skyld, for once. Like, so you can say that when something is rare, of course. Or, you know, you can just be sarcastic and joke around, up to you. That was the last one. That was all for today. This was basically a mix. The first example is at elske. Now, at elske is of course to love. And you can see here that I wrote verb, right? So at elske, to love. But what if it's love as a concept? Then it's kærlighed. Alright? So at elske, to love, and en kærlighed, a love. Alright? It's very important that you know this, because otherwise you might end up making some very strange sentences in Danish. And like I always say, it's okay to make mistakes, but these are pretty easy to avoid once you know the rules. So let's see what we got. Some examples. Hun elsker kun dig. Hun elsker kun dig. She only loves you. Now, of course, you already know that elsker is love, but also you can see that it's a verb because there's that R. Hun elsker. Hun, that's a personal pronoun, she. Elsker, that is a verb in the present tense. Hun elsker kun dig. It's pretty easy. Or this one. Du må aldrig glemme kærligheden. Du må aldrig glemme kærligheden. You must never forget love, like the love. This is kind of dramatic, but it's just to make a point. And so kærlighed, kærligheden, because it's en kærlighed, so it becomes kærligheden. Don't say den kærlighed, like the love or la amor or something like that. No. It's at the end. Okay, at the end is where you have the en or the et to make the love. Okay, I'm moving a little bit fast because that one is pretty easy. What about the next one? At sove. At sove is to sleep, the verb, right? At sove. So that's pretty simple. Then you have søvn, or en søvn, a sleep, right? So sleep as a noun, not asleep, but a sleep. Yeah, that is søvn. And then you have søvnig. Søvnig is sleepy, right? So that's the adjective. Now, it's kind of easy when you look at it, because sove, it ends with an e. So already by that, you know that it's infinitive. At sove, to sleep. So, maybe a little bit tricky. If you haven't seen it before, it could be a little bit annoying. But that is how it ends. Søvnig. Now, what's interesting here is it ends with ig. We have many adjectives in Danish that end with ig, or dig, or lig, or just ig. That's a very common way to end adjectives. Not all. Don't be angry if you find some that aren't. Of course, there are many that are not. But it is a very common way to end adjectives. And again, it's important that you also know how these operate or interact with each other. So you don't use søvn when you're supposed to say sove, or søvnig when you're supposed to say søvn, because the listener, the native Danish speaker who's not a teacher, they might not have the patience or the whatever capacity in that moment to like listen through the mistakes. Like, so it's better if you get it straight and you know the right word class. So some examples. Sover han lige nu? Sover han lige nu? Is he sleeping right now? Sover han lige nu? Again, that's present tense. You got the are. Sover han lige nu? Okay. Søvn er noget, vi alle har brug for. Søvn er noget, vi alle har brug for. Sleep is something we all need. Right? Søvn er noget. And noget means something. I know many of you have a hard time with noget, nogen, and nogle. And I'm gonna comment on that someday in more detail. But for now, just look at this as something. Something unspecified. Søvn er noget. Okay, so that was the noun, søvn, sleep as a noun. Du ser lidt søvnig ud. Du ser lidt søvnig ud. You look a little sleepy, or you seem a little sleepy. Okay, so yeah, du ser ud. You look something, in this case, sleepy. Right? Søvnig. Du ser lidt søvnig ud. Like that. Okay, the next one, what we got? We got at opleve. At opleve. To experience, the verb. You got en oplevelse, or in a more natural way, en oplevelse. Oplevelse. That's an experience, right? The noun. So it's annoying because in English it's the same word, experience. But it's pretty important in Danish that you get it right. If you say like, jeg vil have en opleve, og vi skal oplevelse, like, it's just not good, right? So be aware of how it ends, because it has this like LSE ending. You can be pretty sure that it's a noun, and there are many words like that. So this is not an exception. Like, this is not something rare. You're gonna see it many times. This LSE ending. Some examples. Jeg vil gerne opleve noget nyt. Jeg vil gerne opleve noget nyt. I want to experience something new. Right? It's pretty straightforward. Jeg vil gerne opleve noget nyt. Ja? Det var en god oplevelse. Det var en god oplevelse. Ja, det var en god oplevelse. It was a good experience. In the future, I'm going to cover erfaring as well, because erfaring, I can write it here as a quick note, erfaring also means experience, but more like accumulated experience. And so some of you might be thinking about that right now, like, hey Thomas, you left something out. That's kind of intentional, but we'll get to that someday in more detail. Then we got, I'm too high here, at betyde. At betyde. You'll never hear someone say this like at betyde, but anyway, to mean, like the meaning of something, like a word. So that is the verb. You say en betydning. En betydning. That is meaning or significance of something. That's the noun. And then betydelig or betydelig is significant as an adjective. Okay, so again, look at the ending. It's li. Betyde ends with an e. Okay, straightforward. That's verb. Infinitive. Betydning. You might not know it yet, but many nouns, they end with ning or ing. So keep that in mind. Hvad betyder det ikke? Betydning, betydelig. Let's see. Let's look at the examples. Hvad betyder det ord? Hvad betyder det ord? What does that word mean? And on a little side note, I know many of you have problems because you want to say, hvad mener det ord? Like mener. Yeah, mener is also a thing, but that's more like what you're trying to say. Thomas, hvad er det du mener? What is it you mean? Or like you're serious about what you're saying. Jeg mener det. I mean it. So that is a different way to use that verb. And just to prevent any misunderstandings. Betyder is the meaning of something. Så hvad betyder det ord? What does that word mean? Symbolet har en betydning. Symbolet har en betydning. The symbol has a meaning or significance. Right? Symbolet. Symbolet har en betydning. Very nice. Det gør en betydelig forskel. Det gør en betydelig forskel. It makes a significant difference. Right? A difference that means something. Again, you have that li. Pay attention to that. Okay, moving on. We got at skrive. At skrive or skrive, but we almost never say skrive, so skrive is fine. At skrive, to write. Right? To write something, as that is the verb. And then you got en skrift, or en skrift is writing, that's the noun. And then skriftlig. Skriftlig is written, that's the adjective. Okay, let's see. Jeg skriver en besked til ham. Jeg skriver en besked til ham. I'm writing him a message, or I'm going to write him a message. So, skriver. Right? That's just the present tense of skrive. At skrive, jeg skriver. That's that. Of course, the verb. Lad os få det på skrift. Lad os få det på skrift. Let's get it in writing. Now I was thinking about lawyers or something like that when I wrote this sentence. Right? So, you want to make it official, you put it in writing. På skrift. Dette er en skriftlig opgave. Dette er en skriftlig opgave. This is a written assignment. Right? So like in school, skriftlig is when you're writing, and mundtlig, I can write that here as a little bonus. Mundtlig is the verbal, or maybe some people say oral. I'm not sure, to be honest. But yeah, so skriftlig is when you write, and mundtlig is when you speak. Right? It's good for exam. So that was a little run through. Of course, there's a lot more to cover. So now we're gonna go to this little text that I have. I took it from one of my stories, of which I have written many. And basically I marked the adjectives, nouns, and verbs to make it easier. Adjectives are marked with blue, verbs are marked with red, and nouns are marked with green. Let's see if I got them all. Of course, I'm only human. I might have missed one or two. But let's start with the adjectives. Okay, so adjectives, we gotta look for what's blue. I'll analyze the entire text afterwards. Let's just focus on the words for now. Målløse, målløse, that is speechless. And of course the plural, because if it's singular, there is no E. Målløs. So de er målløse, they're speechless. Okay, and then we got første. And første means first. Første. Over here you got the sjov. Sjov, which means fun or funny. Sjov. Mærkelig or mærkelig. But again, in real life, people tend to say mærkelig. We kind of omit the E. Mærkelig, mærkelig. Weird, strange, odd. Dejlig. Dejlig. You should all know this. Nice, lovely. Svært. Svært. Difficult, hard, tricky. Svært. Rigtigt. Rigtigt. Really, true, real. Rigtigt. Or right, could also mean right. Eneste. Eneste. Only, as in only one. Okay, so we did the adjectives. Now let's take a look at the verbs. I might not do all the er, because it is a verb, but you see it so many times it gets a little bit redundant. Let's just take a few of them. And of course that's am, are, is. Ved. Ved, know, to know something. I know, I don't know. Ved. Ved. Skal. Skal. Many translations, but basically have to, must, should, or going to. Shall, what shall you? Skal. Sige. Sige. Say. Er. Am, are, is. Let's not do that again. Ser. Ser. See. Ser. See something. Går. Går. Walk. Go. Går. Kan. Kan. Can. Mærke. Mærke. Feel. Sense. Next one. Fatte. Fatte. Fathom. Get. Grasp. Understand. Fatte. Siger. Siger. Says. Or say, yeah, we already have that. Skal sige. Siger. Siger. Same. Siger. Kender. Kender. Know. Knows. Right? The one that knows the way. Kender. Siger again. Kom. So come. Kom. Skal. Yeah, have to, must, should, shall, going to. Følger. Følger. Follow. Fanger. Fanger. Catches or captures. Catch, capture. Okay. Now let's take the nouns. We got gang. Gang means time, like unit of time. Vez in Spanish, kai in Japanese. Liv. Liv. Life. Sand. 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 Land. Land. Land or country. That's an English matter, how you translate it. Sandet. Sandet. The sand. Oh, not this. Fødder. fødder. Feet, plural. Fødder. Følelse. Følelse. Følelse, but nobody bothers to say that. It's more like følelse. Følelse. Again, følelse, same here, means feeling. Right? Følelse. Følelse. Is. Is. Is is ice or ice cream, depending on context. Is. Bror. Bror. Brother. Bror. Vejen. Vejen. Way. Road. Skoven. Skoven. Woods. Forest. Vej. Vej. Also way, a road, but vejen was the way or the road. Right? This is just vej, way, road. Way, road. Brødre. Brødre. That's brothers. Opmærksomhed. Opmærksomhed. Attention. Okay, now that took some time, and I know it wasn't exactly super fun, but it is good to be meticulous and really go through it and analyze it. So, Jens og Peter er helt målløse. De ved ikke, hvad de skal sige. Jens and Peter are totally speechless. They don't know what to say. Det er første gang nogensinde i deres liv, at de ser sand. It's the first time ever in their lives that they see sand. De går i land og kan mærke sandet under deres fødder. Det er en sjov følelse. They, how do you say that in English? They go to land, they enter land, from water to land, and can feel the sand underneath their feet. It is a funny feeling. Det er en mærkelig, men dejlig følelse. It is a strange but nice feeling. Det er lidt svært at fatte, at der slet ikke er noget is her, siger Peter. It is a little hard to fathom, grasp, understand that there is no ice here, slet ikke, not at all. There is no ice here at all, says Peter. Hans bror siger, det er rigtigt. His brother says, that's right. Katrine er den eneste, der kender vejen gennem skoven, så hun siger, Katrine is the only one who knows the way through the forest, so she says, kom, vi skal den her vej. Come, we have to go this way. De to brødre følger efter hende, men lige pludselig er der noget andet. Pause there. The two brothers follow her, but suddenly there is something else, som fanger deres opmærksomhed, that catches or captures their attention. You want to find out the word class. You want to do it when you're reading, like you're trying to understand Danish, but also when you have to make your own sentences, because otherwise you might end up making some very strange sentences. And like I said before in the beginning, it's okay to make mistakes, but they're pretty easy to avoid if you just pay attention. Right? So yeah, notice all the R's here. Ikke? Følger, follows, fanger, captures, ikke? Or catches. So yeah. Anything to say about the nouns? Yeah, noun can be a little bit tricky. It's more like, it's probably not a verb, probably not an adjective. Then there's a good chance that it's a noun. Right? Følelse, that's an easy one, because you also had oplevelse. Right? There's also indlevelse, tilværelse, many nouns that end with this LSE. Sand, fødder, skoven, ikke? Then you know, because it's skoven, ikke? En skov becomes skoven. Vejen, brødre, that's clearly a plural, although it's a little bit tricky, because bror becomes brødre. Maybe that's not so straightforward for a learner. Opmærksomhed. Opmærksomhed is a good word. I of course like it, because it's kind of my field, but also because Hed is a very common suffix, or it's a very common way to end nouns when it's the concept of something. If I took out the hed, it would just be opmærksom. And opmærksom means attentive, and like you pay attention. But you know, sometimes you need to say opmærksomhed, you need to say attention. So then you make this. Hed is very common. You will see it a lot. I have some examples further down this document. So yeah, really keep that in mind. Something hed. Right? Okay, so let's continue with some more vocabulary. What we got? You got this one. At interessere, interessere sig for, to be interested in, verb. En interesse, an interest, a noun. Interessant, interesting, the adjective. Right? Interessant, interessere, interessere sig for, interesse, interessant. They are different. So let's see. Hvad er det, du interesserer dig for? Hvad er det, du interesserer dig for? What is it you're interested in? Right? Or have taken an interest in. Hvad er det, du interesserer dig for? Det interesserer mig ikke. Det interesserer mig ikke. It doesn't interest me. Like, so there's a little difference here. Like if I say jeg interesserer mig for, is like I'm the subject. Right? Like I'm being active in having an interest in that thing. But here I'm more like an object. Det interesserer mig ikke. It doesn't have my interest. You could almost translate as that. It doesn't interest me. Right? So, fortæl mig lidt om dine interesser. Fortæl mig lidt om dine interesser. Tell me a little bit about your interests. That's plural. Det var en meget interessant samtale. Det var en meget interessant samtale. It was a very interesting conversation. Right? Meget interessant samtale. Yeah, so I think this is one where a lot of people, a lot of learners make mistakes with this one, you know, because they're so similar. I get it. Ikke? Interessere sig for, interesse and interessant. It's easy to make a mistake with this one. But now you have seen this video, so you have a better chance. You have a better chance of getting it right. Okay, let's move on. We got forskel, en forskel, a difference. Okay, so that is a difference, the noun. And then you got forskellig, different, like the adjective. So forskel and forskellig. Now the pronunciation is also different, right? Forskel, forskellig, different stress. What we're gonna do? Jeg ved ikke, hvad forskellen er. Jeg ved ikke, hvad forskellen er. I don't know what the difference is. Okay, so forskellen, the difference. Jeg ved ikke, hvad forskellen er. Pretty easy. Der findes mange forskellige sprog. Der findes mange forskellige sprog. There are many different languages. Like Finnish is like there is or are or it exists. It's out there. Der findes mange forskellige sprog. Maybe some of you also wonder about this whole thing with forskellig and anderledes. I'll cover that some other day. And all I say for now is that forskellig usually implies that there is diversity. Right? So if you have plural, like many different things, you would generally say forskellig or forskellige. So that's all I'll say for now. Okay, then you got hemmelighed or en hemmelighed. Hemmelighed means secret, a secret. It's a noun. En hemmelighed. And then you got hemmelig. Hemmelig. We often don't say the E. It's kind of annoying. Hemmelig. Hemmelig. Secret. The adjective. And yeah, this is important. A little bonus info. Many learners, they have problems with this for some reason. They say it as hjemlig or hjemmelighed. I think it's because you learn the word hjem or hjemme, like home first, and then you just kind of add the J in there even though it's not there. But yeah, don't do that. you know, it's hemmelighed or hemmelig. There is no J, so it's just a regular H. Hvad er din hemmelighed? Hvad er din hemmelighed? What is your secret? Din hemmelighed. Hun er hemmelig agent. Hun er hemmelig agent. She is a secret agent. Okay? So again, hed, then you know it's a noun. Right? And hemmelig, hemmelig, then you know it's an adjective. It's kind of easy when you get used to it. Okay, så har vi, it can be a little bit tricky. At styrke. At styrke, styrke. To strengthen, the verb. En styrke. A strength, the noun. Stærk. Stærk. Du er stærk, strong. The adjective. So styrke. At styrke, en styrke, and stærk. Det styrker vores forhold. Det styrker vores forhold. It strengthens our relationship. Okay, cool. Han kender ikke sin egen styrke. Han kender ikke sin egen styrke. He doesn't know his own strength, like Hercules or something. Nej. Styrke. Hvor stærk er hun? Hvor stærk er hun? How strong is she? So yeah, look at that. Styrke. Styrke is both the verb and the noun. Styrke. Then stærk. Stærke is the adjective. And stærk not only means strong, it also means, like you say, jeg kører stærkt, like I'm driving fast, or løber stærkt, running fast. And spicy. So, you know, sitting there with your chili or your whatever, it's like, det er stærkt, rigtig stærkt, spicy. Alright. Then we got virkelighed. En virkelighed, or virkelighed. But again, that E usually doesn't get pronounced. Virkelighed, so reality, a reality, the noun. En virkelighed. Then you got virkelig, or virkelig, virkelig, it's real, like the adjective. Vi lever ikke i den samme virkelighed. Vi lever ikke i den samme virkelighed. We don't live in the same reality. Now, I don't know when you need to say this, maybe Matrix or something. I'm sure you can imagine something. So virkelighed, again, with the hed. It's kind of easy when you see it again and again. Virkelighed, reality. But spøgelser er ikke virkelige. Spøgelser er ikke virkelige. Ghosts are not real. Because it's the adjective. I mean, it's getting almost too easy at this point. Spøgelser er ikke virkelige. That's that. And we got ensomhed. En ensomhed. A loneliness, the noun. Ensomhed. And ensom. Ensom. Lonely, the adjective. Ensomhed er noget af det værste. Ensomhed er noget af det værste. Loneliness is one of the worst things. Like the worst things in life or in the world. Ensomhed er noget af det værste. Once again with the hed. Føler du dig ensom? Føler du dig ensom? Do you feel lonely? Føler du dig ensom? That's that. Føler du dig ensom? Not so much to say. Let's just take the next one, which is ærlighed. Ærlighed. En ærlighed. Honesty. Noun. And you got ærlig. Ærlig. Honest. The adjective. Jeg sætter pris på din ærlighed. Jeg sætter pris på din ærlighed. I appreciate your honesty or your candor. Jeg sætter pris på din ærlighed. Det er ikke altid nemt at være ærlig. Det er ikke altid nemt at være ærlig. It's not always easy to be honest. Okay. Li, and you pretty much know that it's an adjective, and hed, then you can guess that it's a noun. Easy peasy. Okay, so that is ærlighed and ærlig. Now we move on. We got tænke, at tænke, to think. So that is a verb. And then you got en tanke, a thought, the noun. Of course, the spelling changes here, so that is pretty important. And I see many learners making this mistake of kind of being too liberal, too non-caring about which one they use. But it makes a difference. And actually you could say, jeg tænker en tanke, ikke? I'm thinking a thought. Og jeg tænker mine tanker. Hvad tænker du på? Jeg tænker på, mine tanker er, ja, stuff like that. Hun ikke nok. Hun ikke nok. Okay, and spise, which is of course eat. So hun ikke nok. What you gonna do? Hun. So you would say hun spiser ikke nok. Spiser. Because it's the present tense, so she doesn't eat enough. You couldn't say like hun spiser ikke nok, because that would not make sense. Like you have the subject, then you gotta have the present tense right after, or the past. You cannot have infinitive right after the subject. Okay, so what about the next one? Har du en besked til ham? Har du en besked til ham? And then skrive is the verb. Skrive of course means to write. So har du, that's like have you. Besked, what is besked? That is message. So har du, have you, so have you written? So what are you gonna do? You will say har du skrevet, og skrevet. Har du skrevet en besked til ham? This is the present perfect. Ikke? Have you done? Har du skrevet en besked til ham? Like that. Okay, we got this one. Toget til tiden. Toget til tiden. Okay, so komme, that is the verb here. And of course it could be present, but I want to hear the past tense. Do you know what the past tense is of this verb? So the train arrived on time, like it came on time. What are you gonna say? We're gonna say toget kom, right? Toget kom. And yes, kom or come is also the imperative, right? The spelling is the same. People say it a bit differently, but yeah, it's the same spelling. So toget kom til tiden. Very nice. And yeah, I know that's annoying. Many verbs are more predictable in the past tense, but some are just irregular and they will annoy you. Okay. Det er tid til at en ny telefon. Det er tid til at en ny telefon. Okay, so we got købe. And what is købe? That of course means to buy, to purchase. So det er tid til, it's time to a new phone. It's time to buy a new phone. So what we're gonna do here, what should I put in this little space? Det er tid til at, yeah, let's see. Maybe you have an idea. Det er tid til at købe, the one that is over here. This is not so hard to guess maybe, but the important point here, and what I do have to mention, is that it's the infinitive. Right? So generally speaking, when you have at, then what you have afterwards is infinitive. Ikke? Det er tid til at købe, det er tid til at gøre, det er tid til at sove, det er tid til at gå i seng, a million different things. Ikke? You gotta have the infinitive after this at. Yeah, some people say køber, ikke? Or laver, spiser, but that's with the are, there's a present tense. You don't put the present tense after the at unless I tell you otherwise. There's always exceptions here and there, but generally speaking, just remember this. Okay, cool. So that was det tid til at købe en ny telefon. And then we got lad os op. Lad os op. And then this is vaske, that is the verb. Lad os, so vaske, maybe you know it. Vaske is to wash, but vaske op is to do the dishes. Yeah, don't translate that directly like gøre og lave tallerkenerne. That's weird. So, vaske. And I might as well tell you that is the right answer. The same as the previous one. Let us vaske up. Let's clean up. Let's do the dishes. Let us vaske up. Yeah. Very nice. Alright, the next one's going to be a little bit harder for some of you. Tror du, hun bliver for det? Tror du, hun bliver for det? So we got betale here. Right? Betale, that is of course to pay. Okay. So what do you think? So tror du, do you think? Hun bliver, like she will be, or she will get, or she gets for det, for it. Do you think she will be betale? Do you think she'll be paid for it? Right? Tror du, hun bliver betalt? Jeg tror du, hun bliver betalt for det. So this is like the passive, one version of the passive. There's another one soon. But in a specific case, like he, she, whatever, is being. Like jeg bliver something, hun bliver something, du bliver whatever. And it's important that you have that T. Otherwise, it's the wrong verb tense. You gotta have that T in there. Tror du, hun bliver betalt for det? Do you think she's getting paid for it? Okay, very nice. Then we got min gamle kat lidt en bæver. Min gamle kat lidt en bæver. Okay, so the verb is ligne. What does ligne mean? And Google says, no, it's wrong. It's not wrong. Google, you are wrong. So ligne means look like, resemble. Så ligne, gamle kat, what is that? Mean, my. Right? So gamle kat, old cat. Lidt is little, like a little bit. En bæver, beaver. Right? Gamle kat, something lidt en bæver. What you gotta do? You would say lignede, right? Because it's the past tense. Min gamle kat lignede lidt en bæver. That's that. And this is a pretty easy verb conjugation because it has that predictable ending. Ligne is the infinitive, and then you just add the e, then it's the past. Right? Now you can't always do that, but there's a fair amount. There's a lot of verbs that do end that way, and those are the easy ones. So lignede, look like. Lignede lidt en bæver. Kind of look like a beaver. Nice, very nice. Okay, then we have hvad du allermest. Hvad du allermest. Okay, so we have frygte. What is frygte? Maybe you guys know what it is. Frygte means fear, like the verb. So this is the action. Frygte, to fear. So what is the right tense? What do you say? Hvad frygter du? I don't want to keep you waiting because it's kind of easy. Hvad frygter du allermest? Right? What do you fear the most? Like number one spot, the absolutely scariest thing to you. Allermest. Hvad frygter du allermest? Because it's a regular question. Like it's something that is happening in general, and therefore you gotta use the present tense. That's all it is. Hvad frygter du allermest. Yeah, that's all it is. Then what we got here? Chefen. Til sin kone. Chefen til sin kone. Okay, so something about ringe. Guys, what is ringe? Ringe means called, like dialed. He called someone up. I'm still doing this with the old phone. Så chefen, sin kone, ikke? So the boss, not the chef. And this is not French. This is Danish. So chefen, he probably called his wife, ikke? Til sin kone, because it's past tense. So what is called? How do you make this into something in the past? You would say ringede. Right? Chefen ringede til sin kone. Yeah, very nice. There's not so much to say. Okay. Hvem præsidentvalget? Hvem præsidentvalget? And the verb is vinde. Vinde, of course, mean, what does it mean? It means to win, right? Victory. So, hvem, how do you say that in the past? It's irregular, so if you don't know, it's tricky, but give it a shot. Hvem vandt, right? Hvem vandt præsidentvalget? So who won the presidential election? Hvem vandt præsidentvalget? And yeah, only some of these are marked with this, make it past tense or make it present tense. That is because those could be either one. And so to make it easier for me and for you, I just chose the one that's intended. Alright. Then you have, it's getting a little challenging here. Denne ret skal. Denne ret skal. And then we have nyde or nyde. What is that? Nyde. Nyde means enjoy. Eh? Yeah, enjoy. Disfrutar, gozar, or in Japanese, yorokobu, I think. Tanoshimu. It's not important right now. So denne ret skal, but here's the thing. Denne ret skal, this dish, food, meal, has to. What you gonna do? What you gonna do about that? This is the passive. I want to get to the passive. This dish, this meal, has to be enjoyed. So how do you make the passive voice? Nydes. Right? Denne ret skal nydes. That is what you say. That is like something in general. Like denne ret skal nydes. It is to be enjoyed. I think that would be a better translation. It is to be enjoyed. It is supposed to be enjoyed. Very nice. So that's the passive. Like, nydes. All right. And then we got det aldrig om søndagen. Det aldrig om søndagen. And the verb is regne. Det, okay, so one by one. Regne is rain. Okay, that's easy. But it's aldrig. Aldrig is never. So never rain, I guess. Søndag, what is søndag? We all like it. Well, I don't, maybe, but maybe you do. Søndag, ikke Sunday. So it's something never on Sundays. Like on Sundays it never rains. What you say is regner. Regner, because it is something that happens in general. I don't know if anybody needs to hear this, but if you're thinking, oh, the present tense is for the present, like right now. No, the present tense is for anything that happens in general. Like if it's not the past or leading up to that, then it's the present. And then maybe some of you will want me to talk about the future, but that's fairly easy and we'll do that some other time. Okay, so det regner aldrig om søndagen. Ikke? It never rains on Sundays. Although we say om søndagen, like the Sunday, but that's just how we do in Danish. Right? Okay, very cool. Yeah, and I see some of you participating in the live chat. That's nice. Keep it up. I got this one. Hvor tit du pandekager. Hvor tit du pandekager. Okay, so we got bage, that is to bake, right? Baking something, you're in the kitchen. Hvor tit, what is that? Hvor tit, that means how often, like how frequently. After du pandekager, du is you. What is pandekager? It's kind of close to the English one. Pandekager, it's something that I miss, but I'm not in Denmark, so it breaks my heart. What is pandekager? It is of course pancakes. So how often, and bage is bake, so it must be how often do you bake pancakes. So what should I do here? What is the tense? Is it present? Is it infinitive? Is it past? It's bage. Right? Once again, it's the present tense because it's something that happens in general. That's all it is. Not so much to say really. Something that happens in general or right now is the present tense. The present tense verb. Okay, very nice. Okay, this is a bit longer. So, jeg en god film for et par dage siden. Jeg en god film for et par dage siden. Okay, so the verb is see. See is of course see or watch. Jeg en god film, a good movie, for et par dage siden. What is that, guys? You know dage is days. Et par, maybe you know that. Et par is a few, a couple. So a couple of days. For siden, ago. So for et par dage siden, a few days ago, a couple of days ago. A good movie, a few days ago. Which would make it the past tense. Right? So we gotta say, you know the answer. Jeg så en god film for et par dage siden. I saw or I watched. Right? And this one is, well, it's irregular. That's annoying. When it's irregular, you can't just copy what you had with other verbs. That's why it's irregular. But yeah, sometimes those are the most important ones. And you just kind of have to memorize it. Right? Jeg så en god film for et par dage siden. That's what it is. Okay, then we got kan det her kød? Did my picture freeze or something? Okay, I don't know if I froze. You guys let me know in the live chat, because on my end it looks like I'm frozen, and it's not a great point to be frozen now. I'm gonna minimize it until you can confirm it. Alright, so kan det her kød spise? Now, can this meat? Now, meat cannot do anything on its own. I would hope not, at least. Alright. So, what you're gonna do? You would assume that it's passive. Right? The meat has to be passive. So, what is that? How do you say to be eaten? Kan det her kød spises? Right? Be eaten. Can this meat be eaten, or is it edible? But that's not a very close translation. So yeah, kan det her kød spises? It's just another example of the past tense. Very good. Okay, and you confirm that it's frozen, then I'm just gonna remove this. Let me see how to do it. I'm just gonna take it out the frame. That's the easiest way. Bye bye, you can't see me. Oh well, it happens. Okay, moving on. What is this? Jeg et chok, da jeg læste den nyhed. Jeg et chok, da jeg læste den nyhed. Okay, kind of long. We got få in here. And få means get, right? You get something. So jeg, I, et chok, a shock, just Danish spelling. Da jeg læste den nyhed. Of course, læste is also a verb, but I just focus one at a time. So, okay, so da jeg læste den nyhed, when I read that news or those news. But what is få? Like this is the past, because you know da is also the past. So da jeg læste, when I read. How would you turn få into the past tense? That is the question. How are you gonna do that? Have any ideas? I can tell you that it's also irregular, and that might be a little bit annoying, but it's fik. Jeg fik et chok. Right? And some of you already know it. Awesome. Så jeg fik et chok, da jeg læste den nyhed. Now, a common mistake that learners they make when they don't really know so many verbs yet and how they're conjugated is they'll just put the ede or de to everything. So they'll say like, jeg har fået det, ikke, or spise det, right, to make it past tense. And of course it's an attempt, but it's also worth really taking the time and reading the conjugation charts or watching videos and anything you can to memorize it, rather than just putting ede or de to everything. It's gonna look kind of weird sometimes. Alright, then what? Hvor længe har du den cykel? Hvor længe har du den cykel? What does that mean? That means, well, let's take one at a time. So we have have or have here, so something about having. Hvor længe har du? How long have you? Den cykel would mean that bike or bicycle. Okay, what are you thinking? Hvor længe, hvor længe har du haft? That is the answer. Hvor længe har du haft den cykel? Yeah, and some of you know it. That's good. Because it's the present perfect. Hvor længe har du haft? Yeah, it can generally be a bit annoying. Like, jeg har haft, ikke? Og jeg havde haft. Yeah. Jeg havde, jeg vil have. So usually we don't say have. We do it now in educational context. But like me with other Danish people, we don't do that. So yeah, we just say have. Jeg vil have, I want it. Det vil jeg ikke have, I don't want that. Okay, very nice. So hvor længe har du haft en cykel? For how long have you had that bicycle? Okay, moving on. You got this one. De at gøre det. De at gøre det. And then it's overveje. Overveje means what? It means consider, right? Contemplate. So they at gøre det. Gøre det, to do it, doing it. De overveje, so maybe they're considering, and that would be de overvejer. Almost too easy at this point. De overvejer at gøre det. That's that, right? They're considering doing it. Yeah. Okay, nice. Then you have this one. Hun, det med det samme. There's a lot of det here, but don't be confused by that. Hun, det med det samme. So this is in the past tense. Again, of course, gøre is do. We just had that. It's pretty easy. At gøre, to do. But in the past tense, of course, you got to change it. The question is what you're going to do. Hun gjorde det. Okay. Hun gjorde det med det samme. She did it. And yeah, that's what happens in the past tense. Jeg gjorde det. I did it. It's irregular, it's annoying, but it is that way. And just a little tip on pronunciation. I know some of you might feel tempted to say gjorde because you see a D, but remember, we have a lot of silent Ds in Danish, and especially if there's an R right before, you can be pretty sure it's going to be a silent D. Gjorde. Hun gjorde det med det samme. Bonus info, med det samme means right away or immediately. Could also be stressed, like med det samme, like right away, this instant. Yeah, so she did it right away. Okay, very nice. Continue down here, there's a little gap, but let's see what we got. Er det der, at elefanter aldrig glemmer? Det, at elefanter aldrig glemmer. What you gonna do? The verb is sige. You guys know what that is, eh? Sige is say, to say, you're speaking. So det is it doing something. Elefanter, elephants aldrig, never, glemmer, forget. So something about elephants never forgetting. Det siges. Whoops, gotta have this. Det siges, it is said. That is once again the passive. Like disease, it is said, like it's being thrown around, conventional wisdom, that kind of stuff. Disease. Yeah. Disease. Okay, then what? Hvorfor? Oh, then you got hvorfor solen hvorfor solen aldrig her? Hvorfor solen aldrig her? Okay, so hvorfor is why. That's pretty straightforward, right? And solen is of course the sun. Aldrig, never again. Here, so why the sun never, and then skinny is shine, so why does the sun never shine here? Why doesn't it ever shine? Hvorfor skinner? Hvorfor skinner solen aldrig her? Of course, aldrig means that it doesn't happen, but it's still something general, and therefore is the present tense. Hvorfor skinner solen aldrig her? Yeah, that's all it is. Okay, then we got han min øl. Han min øl. Okay, so drikke is the verb, and drikke means to drink. Right? To drink. Han something, so it's past tense. How do you say he drank? And so min øl is of course my beer. So han something min øl. What is the past? It is han drak. Han drak min øl. And that's that. Again, you might feel tempted to say han drikkede. Right? But yeah, it is drak. It's irregular. Okay, so han drak min øl. He drank my beer. Very nice. Well, not really nice. Hvor længe havde du i det hus? Hvor længe havde du i det hus? And the verb is bo. Might look tricky, but let's take a look at it. Hvor længe havde du? And so like how long had you i det hus? In that house. Hvor længe havde du? So this is something you're in the past, but then you're going further back, and like before that past that you already established. So we gotta get the boet. Right? It's actually the same with present perfect. Present perfect was called past perfect or past participle. Like it's the same here. Havde du boet? For how long had you been living, or had you lived in that house? Like implying in a context that when something happened, she had already been living there for some time. I know it's a bit hard to catch this tense without context, but I hope it makes sense to you. Okay, very nice. And some of you know it. 2 of you know it. That's great. Then what? Det er ikke hver dag, at man indgave. What you gonna do? Det er ikke hver dag, at man indgave. And you got få. We already had få. What is it, guys? What does få mean? Få is of course get. Okay. So det er ikke hver dag. Det er ikke. It is not. Hver dag, every day. At man, that you, that one, people in general. Indgave, a gift, a present. So it's not every day that you use something, a present or a gift. What to do? At man får. Det er ikke hver dag, at man får en gave. Easy peasy, right? Because it's something happening in general or not happening. Okay. So then we got this one. Hvordan. Det ord. Hvordan det ord. So udtale. Udtale is the verb in this case. What do you think? Hvordan, how something det ord. Like that word. Hvordan det ord. What do you think? You would say, hvordan udtales det ord? Hvordan udtales det ord? Once again, it's the passive because the word cannot do anything on its own. Well, that is not entirely true. You could say, det ord lyder godt, eller lyder grimt. It sounds good, sounds bad. But generally speaking, like, when you look at the structure, hvordan, something about how, and that word, you can assume that it's going to be something in the passive. Hvordan udtales det ord? Very nice. So how is that word pronounced? Alright, the next one is jeg det så godt som jeg kunne. Jeg det så godt som jeg kunne. So let's take this first. Forklare, what is that? Forklare means explain, right? Klar is like clear, so you clarify. Forklare, forklare, forklare. Jeg, that is så godt. I something, it as well, best way possible, som jeg kunne. I, it as well as I could. So, this is past tense, you can see that. Jeg, what is the answer? Jeg forklarede. Jeg forklarede. Right? And some of you know it. Very good. Jeg forklarede det så godt som jeg kunne. Okay, simple enough. So this is the easy conjugation. Right? Forklarede, I explained. Beautiful. And then you got, det er ikke nemt at ung. Det er ikke nemt at ung. You got være here, that is the keyword. So ikke nemt, what is that? Det er ikke, it is not. Nemt, nemt is an adjective, it means easy. Det er ikke nemt, it is not easy. At to an ung, what is that? Ung means young. Være is of course to be. So how much can I drag this out? No longer I can. So det er ikke nemt at være ung. It's not easy to be young. That's that. Alright. Then you have han så langsomt. Han så langsomt. And kører is the verb. Han is he, så. I made it in cursive to really emphasize, like so. Langsomt, slowly. He something so slowly. Okay, så langsomt. Køre, that is of course to drive, like in a car. Så han kørte. Han kørte så langsomt. That's the answer. He drove so slowly, or he was driving so slowly. Kørte. We also have a lot of verbs ending with te, like spiste, ate. Okay, super duper. Then we have this one. Jeg har dit brev. Jeg har dit brev. Okay, and then it's modtage. Modtage is of course receive. Okay, modtage, receive. Jeg har, I have, dit brev. What is that? Brev, brev, brev. Maybe you know it. It means letter, like mail, not a letter in the alphabet. Jeg har, okay, so receiving, right? Something about receiving a letter. Jeg har, looks like the present perfect, doesn't it? Now let's see what we're gonna do. Jeg har modtaget. Jeg har modtaget dit brev. I have received your letter. Yeah, that's it. Easy. Very nice. Okay, the longest sentence today, but it's not that hard. Let's see. Hvorfor skal jeg for noget, som en anden person har gjort? Hvorfor skal jeg for noget, som en anden person har gjort? And the verb is straffe. Straffe means what? Take a second. Think about it. Think about it. Straffe means punish. Right? So to punish. Hvorfor skal jeg? Hvorfor? Why? Skal jeg? Like should I? Why should I? For noget? What is that? For noget? For noget is for something. Right? Why should I punish, som en anden person har gjort, that another person did? So why should I be punished for something? Hvorfor skal jeg straffes? That is once again the passive. Hvorfor skal jeg straffes for noget, som en anden person har gjort? What you want to consider here is that the reason why we use passive is because someone is receiving it. They are, well, fun enough, passive. They're not doing anything, they're on the receiving end. I know it's kind of spelled out and basic, but do remember it sometimes when you feel tempted to use the present tense when you're actually supposed to use the passive, or vice versa. And you have to consider the meaning of the sentence. Hvorfor skal jeg straffes for noget, som en anden person har gjort? Super. Alright, just 2 left. Let's see what we got here. De mig virkelig. De mig virkelig. Okay, so imponere, that is the verb. Okay, de imponere. Imponere means to impress. Right? Imponere. That's what it is. Imponere. Yes, okay, very nice. Oh, he's levitating, nice. That was cool. So imponere is impress. Right? They, mig virkelig. Like, me, really, something. De imponerede. Right? This is past tense. De imponerede mig virkelig. They really impressed me. De imponerede mig virkelig. Nice. That's pretty easy. Han har på kort i mange år. Han har på kort i mange år. So samle, that is the one. Samle is, in this case, it's with the på. Right? So that is to collect, like cards or something like that. That's what I wrote here. So samle på kort, that is to collect cards. And har, it's like han har. So he has i mange år, for many years. Remember that in Danish, when something is going on for a period of time, we say i and not for. I'm going to repeat that. I, not for. I 1 time, i 2 dage, i mange år, i et årti, for a decade. I, not for. Because it's duration of time. For is the past. For siden. For 5 år siden, for 10 år siden, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You got the point. Very nice. However, to answer the question, han har samlet. He has collected, or he has been collecting. Right? So yeah, once again, that present perfect has that T, modtaget, samlet. And you gotta end with that T in the present perfect. So it's not that hard. And there are some rules and there are exceptions and some irregular things, but there are also many things that can help you. It's not completely random and it's not as hopeless as some people might say it is. It's quite okay.